Yo. So we got something special packed on for tonight. So look, tonight, while my stream was going on, I'm gonna be talking boxing over here. But in between, we're gonna react to what's going on over there at GMT Sports, man. Shout out to my man Slick 50. It's cracking over there. That's why I'm starting my stream so late. But hey, first late night stream from Punch. 20 more of these to come, bro, depending on your time frame. But there's some interesting things about boxing that I want to talk about tonight. NFL was fun. They over there getting it cracking. You know what I mean? Because you know how passionate we are about our fucking football over here in America, baby. We don't play about our NFL, so it's getting a little heated, and that shit was fun. And it's fun to take shots at each other about each other's teams. But boxing, boxing. Who should I start with? There have been some big news in boxing, man, lately that I wanted to talk about, man. A lot of interesting things happening right now in the scene, behind the scenes. I know some pretty crazy shit, but I can't talk about it. But it's pretty interesting stuff to know about a few upcoming fights. Damn, I can't talk about this stuff, man. I finally got into the circle, and you know, when you're in that circle, you gotta have trust, man. But I'm telling you, man, juicy tidbits coming up. But I can talk about a few things like Inoue signed with Turkey. Who seen that coming? Nobody. Oh, DJ, first person in the house. What's up, dog? How you doing, man? If you want to talk some boxing, come on up, man. I think I put the link in the chat. Yeah, I did. Yeah, come on up, man. If you want to talk some boxing, but now you're in a way. Wow, sign with Turkey Alex Sheik. We're gonna finally see his competition go way up because you know how Turkey like to do. He like to get them big matchups, man. And if you sign under a contract with this dude, you guaranteed to have to fight somebody that's gonna give you a test, man. So we gonna see if now your anyway is really what everybody say he's cracked up to be when they start throwing some real competition his way. I'm excited for this signing. Listen, I know sometimes how I get actually how it lights my fire when the motherfuckers say anyway is all right, DJ. When they say Inoue is the top dog, you know what I mean, pound for pound. But this competition is a little, That's to always do that. That's the gripe about him, man. You could say he's a great fighter. He do got that dog. He is 2-time undisputed. He's a walking, talking, living, breathing Hall of Famer. All that, yeah. But at the same time, he for all his accomplishments, you can't name 5 of his opponents. That's gonna always be an asterisk. I like that term, asterisk, on that nigga's career until the competition go up, man. We need the competition to get a little bit more, harder. But I ain't gonna lie, his last couple fights, man, ain't been no cakewalks. Cause they both put his ass on the ground. Both his last 2 opponents put him on the floor. But both times where he got put on the floor, he got him up and whooped some ass. So he's showing that he definitely do have that dog. But we'll see as the competition gets stiffer because that chin, bro, looking a little suspect now, yeah. But also, guess who said they taking 2 years off of boxing? No surprise. After you get your ass whooped like that, nigga, there ain't nobody on the planet that's not gonna take a break. Of course, Devin Haney, usually having a baby is an excuse, but usually having kids motivate you, nigga, they want to do more, nigga, not sit your ass down and go on vacation. So I tell you that mind ain't right. Now, congratulations on being a father, because ain't nothing more beautiful in the world than doing that. I know that from experience, but at the same time, it's a very convenient excuse when we all know the real reason you taking time off, bro. But I ain't gonna lay into you too hard. So shout out to you for having your first kid. That's awesome. You know what I mean? And shout out to you for being married, even though your choice of woman. But I ain't gonna lay into you about that. Hey, all I'll say about that is his choice of woman shows that he's a spoiled rich boy, like, cause a down to earth man, red blooded man who didn't work for everything they got in life. Wouldn't have chose her for a wife, but okay. Third thing, man, we got Keyshawn Davis coming up, man. Yeah, that's a big fight for Keyshawn. First time headlining the card, man. Is he going? Is he going to live up to the hype? Because the hype was getting crazy around him now. I mean, like out of control, crazy now. Like, but he been wanting this. See, this is the situation that you talk yourself into, and the skills show that he deserved to be in this situation. But if he don't rise to the occasion, they gonna rain hellfire on you because you talk a lot of shit. And then but we're gonna talk about that later. I'm gonna see if any more people come up. We'll talk about that later. But and last but not least, definitely not least, the Schofields was on Cigar Talk a couple days ago talking about what they did to Shakur Stevenson during sparring, and surprise, Shakur popped the fuck up and humbled the shit out them niggas. Caught them in so many lies, it wasn't even funny, yo. It was actually kind of hilarious to see one of these loud ass daddies get put in a place, bro. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. You know what I mean? But while we are while we while I'm waiting for my man DJ to come up so we get to get into some of these topics, because I know there's only like 2 people in here right now. We're gonna go on over to Slick 50 stream and spy and see what's going on with these dudes. But at the same time, we're gonna be sending a little slick shit in the chat. So I'm gonna be fucking with them while they doing their show, and I'm gonna see if they're gonna be reacting to what the hell I be putting in the group chat. And Slick like to put that shit up on the TV. So RC, you know, one of my main man, 100 Grand, is definitely going at it right now. Now, an NFL stream, this is the point. This is the point of that. It's for us to go at it like this because we do nothing about arguing because we all got different teams. So it's kind of fucking hilarious. But you know, G Fish always come up there. He pop up sporadic and shit during the live streams and shit. Now he when we talking mad boxing, he don't really get into it. But if you bring up the NFL, it gets real. And Slick is doing his first ever NFL stream. Shout out to Slick. I think it was a success. It was pretty fun. I got up there late, man, because I fucking bullshitting around, lost track of time. But I did get in there to take my little shots at everybody and have my little fun. But I can't wait for the next one. So shout out to you, bro. Oh yeah, we got DJ coming up, bro. What's up, dog? I'm about to let you up right now. Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna be jumping back and forth, bro. I'm gonna be fucking with. Like, what up, DJ, man? How you been, bro? How you feeling?
Good, man. Good. Yourself?
Oh man, I'm feeling pretty good, man. Good night of football. Got the bullshit around over there on Slick's channel for a minute. And they started talking shit so much, they got me pumped to come over here and start my own live, bro. Talk about some of this boxing shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they got some pretty interesting things going on in the boxing world, bro, and we might get what everybody been wanting, man. Maybe some people will be able to make me eat crow this year because it looked like anyway is going to get some stiff competition now that he signed to Turkey Alex Sheik on a new, I think, $15 million 2-fight deal. And I think I looked into that. I'm like, 15 million. They say that's massive. And I'm looking to what anyway made his last 3 fights. Yeah, he made $2 million. So $15 million, that means you're going to make $5 million a fight. So will the competition go up, DJ? What you think?
Yeah, look, I've seen a couple of different numbers for the deal. I think I saw 17 and 17 and a half. Then I saw some that were just far-fetched, some $1 billion deal. Like, you know, some people, they're just happy to put lies to their name.
Yeah.
But look, I'm not confident that I'm not underrating some of his past competitors. And I think you and I had this conversation there either a couple of days ago or a week ago, and I said, well, what I'm quickly learning is where I don't follow a country or a region's boxing closely, it's really easy, like particularly when it's outside of the US or for me, Australia, perhaps even UK, it's really easy to underrate people and just go with the person that you're most familiar with. And we're learning that, you know, Loma early in his career when he turned pro, Janibek, Madrimov, Motazaliev, Boachuk, you know, there's some really good fighters overseas, and just because you haven't heard about them doesn't automatically mean that they're not good. So, in a way, you'd suggest that there's been calls for a few fights. I mean, I guess he can only fight who's available and what the rankings do. The number one contender, whether it's accurate or not, is Sam Goodman. So that'll happen on the 24th of December. I forget where that's happening.
Probably in Japan. He rarely fights out of there. Yeah, if he was coming to Australia, I'm sure you would know that.
Yeah, look, they were trying to get him across there, but look, it doesn't really matter to me, and I don't think it really matters to Sam anyway. It's an opportunity for him to try and fight. But look, if we get to see him tested and some stiffer competition, good. I think probably the last couple of fights I've seen him work through some adversity.
Yeah.
I mean, he got knocked down, and he didn't get Yeah, and he didn't get his own way in every fight. Like, he didn't get him up and out of there in the first 4 rounds. So it's not like he was getting gifted fights. Yeah, look, I can tell you, I've got it in front of me. TJ Doherty, Lucas Neri,
Yeah, Neri put him
Tapales,
down once, and the dude after Neri put him down once.
Stephen Fulton.
Fulton, he cooked Fulton out the ring. Like Fulton looked like all his opponents down at 118 because he was dominated. He was real dominant down at 118.
He had Jason Maloney a few years ago. But look, some of those, I'm just careful not to be too critical, because when you have a look at divisions, like the health of some divisions just aren't healthy. And
Yeah.
that's not the champion's fault, right? So if Inoue's in a division, or the two that he's been in that didn't have big depth in it, it's no different to maybe 147 or even 160. Sometimes the era that you're boxing in doesn't allow you to fight huge depth. But look, I'm not sure that, in my opinion, that Riyadh season isn't going through some teething issues. You've seen there was a little bit of controversy and mixed opinion about the last Riyadh card, the Bivol Beterbiev.
Yeah.
What happens after the Fury Usyk rematch? Normally they're 6 months or 9 months ahead of the game.
And
We've got this card, and then
that Boacek Ortiz one was considered a real bad robbery. So yeah, he got a couple of those on his card. And then, listen, I changed my opinion on the. I still think Bivol did enough to win, but I changed my opinion on going crazy on them the way I did. Remember how I went crazy on the judges the next day? But I do feel like them turkey cards been having a couple suspect decisions, and I'm like making me raise an eyebrow, and it's always in favor of people that Turkey want to win. So if
yeah,
that's
and
I
I
to
don't think I think that part of the my perception, part of the challenge is now is him continuing to actually find the fights over longevity. Like, it was all hype and big dollars for the first 12 months. Like, when did he start? December last year with the first heavyweights.
yeah.
Yep. So, and now maybe it might be slowing down a bit. And for him, it's just as much about the depth of the boxing community. But okay, so he's got Inoue. He still hasn't found anything for Bud, but that might be Bud's fault. Bud might not even fight ever again if he doesn't get Canelo. That's the reality, his choice or otherwise.
I got some information
Then,
about Bud, but I'll tell you in the group chat. I can't tell you live.
yeah, no problem. So look, it'll be interesting to see what the first half of next year looks like for Turkey, and or DAZN, depending on which way you want to look at that.
I think, I think Turkey is headed in the right direction as long as he managed these guys right. But remember, everybody was kind of congratulating the 3 top dogs that didn't sign with Turkey yet, and he just got one of them. So he got her. So all right. So that's Crawford, and that's anyway. Now Canelo is hard to get. Tank is hard to get, but after this, this Usyk fight. This Usyk got one more fight on this contract with Top Rank. How crazy would it be if Turkey get Usyk too? He clearly likes to fight over there.
Well, hasn't he kind of by default got him anyway, or working with him, because he's had Usyk on his
He's
card?
working with Bob. He's getting them because of Bob Arum. Both them guys is on Top Rank, so that's Turkey working with Bob. But after these couple fights, he ain't gonna need to go through Bob no more. Because you remember, Usyk and Fury is both Top Rank fighters. Well,
Yeah, look, I think for the
Fury is more, what's that one over there in England? He's more that way. Frank Warren, you know what I'm talking about?
Queensbury.
Yeah, he's more Frank Warren, but he's also affiliated with Bob Arum.
Look, as a fan, we don't. Well, I don't care. We shouldn't care anymore who they're affiliated with. Or who was promoting. We only used to get the shits because they wouldn't cross the street and put the best fights together. So, from a Riyadh season perspective, If he can bring two of those promoters together to get the best fights, I'm less worried about the technicalities, whether it's Queensbury, Top Rank, Matchroom, any of those sorts of things. So I'd be surprised if Usyk, particularly if he wins, I reckon and there's been rumours of it for a little bit, that he might go back down to cruiserweight.
Why he cleans it out? Oh. So you want him to come after your after Opatai, huh?
No, look, I don't think it's about Opataya. I think that Opataya's still got a bit of growing to do before he deserves to be in the ring with
Yeah.
Usyk. As exciting as he might be, the
Mark Wynn,
reality
what
is,
up, bro? You say
he's had to
finally
work.
some boxing.
Opataya's had to work through some boxing politics, and he's been pretty open and honest consistently in saying, look, Usyk's not the main goal. It's unifying at his weight division. But look, you never know in boxing. We've seen that. I'm still seeing a lot of discussion around the Roach and Tank fight. Everyone's
Oh
got
man, because
different opinions on.
everybody's pissed off about it. They got the Tank fans making excuses. They blaming Al Heyman and PBC, and then you got the Tank haters celebrating. Like, yeah, I guess you really ain't the face of boxing if your own promotional company can't even can't even lock down a venue for them. So it opened up a whole can of worms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they're still going at it. The hardcore fans of Tank
Hardcore fans
and
versus the casuals. You got the YouTubers going at it, the Tank YouTubers versus the Devin YouTubers. It's going fucking crazy. It's funny as hell, actually. I'm not invested in Tank like that. I'm a fan, but I ain't like who mine. Terrence Crawford is mine. So like we all got our own fighters that strike a chord with us, and Tank ain't mine. But all the Tank channels is losing their fucking mind right now, bro, and it's fun to watch. And the fans like RC because he pissed off because he was like, that ain't gonna happen, and then that shit happened. So it's showing all of them that shit, if somebody who's supposed to be who's this popular, you know what I mean, who sell out any venue against any person, they definitely should have been a backup plan. So it makes the management look pretty bad for the so-called face of boxing, who they deemed up there. Like, but it's funny to watch.
what else were some of the topics that you were going to touch on?
Uh um I don't know if you're familiar with the channel Cigar Talk. But he be
I
getting
am.
some he be getting some. All right, so he just had the Schofields on there. So you seen when Shakur crashed the show?
Yeah, look, I saw it there, but I didn't watch it because I don't get into the back and forth with boxers and their teams. It doesn't really get me going. I just let them have their.
Well,
But
I
at
thought,
least
it was
at,
funny.
at least they did it face to face this time, or at least on rather than doing it by way of Twitter or social media. So props there.
That's what make it so hilarious because he's another one of those annoying dads that do too much talking, and that'll get your son beat the fuck up, i.e. Bill Haney. So it was kind of refreshing to me to see somebody pop up on the screen while he was trash talking, and then immediately his whole energy changed. Like, Shakur, we know you the man. I didn't call you the greatest, but your son's calling him a bitch. But he's the man, so your son's really not ready for him. And so remember how when Keyshawn crashed on Mill City Boxing, shout out to Mill City Boxing, uh, he was calling him bitches and soft and all type of shit. But when Shakur did it, he was humble as hell. That was telling to me because Shakur was just looking at him like, bro, I'll beat the fuck out your son in the ring. Said it just like that. Normally that would strike a chord in Floyd Schofield Sr., right? He'd go crazy, right? He kind of like, no, 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 we're not going there. I thought that was telling, DJ. And from what we've seen from younger Floyd, he got some. He's a good fighter, but he got some uh discipline problems. Like, you notice that every time he got caught with a clean shot, his game plan went right out the window. That's eyebrow raising shit right there.
Yeah, it's that muscle memory or that reflex response. Oh, I got hit. I need to go and get my get back. So, look, I think sometimes to your point, and probably it's not about the Haneys or the Schofields, that I think part of while you're learning and realise where you are, or you need to realise where you are in the whole landscape of boxing, is that if you're talented, great. If you've got opportunity and you're working hard, great. But be careful not to overhype too early and give your son or your boxer, whoever it is, a sense of overconfidence. Because Oscar was the first one to sort of say, "Yeah, no, you're not getting Shakur yet. There's a few things we need to work on."
Yeah,
So,
a big fight, bro.
look, in my opinion, I'd like to see Abdullah and Floyd go at it.
Ooh, that'd be a good matchup, man. But I'm gonna be. I would think. I don't know if Abdullah can handle Floyd's power. See, Abdullah Mason is one of them guys that got such good defense. We ain't never seen him clipped yet. It was like that with Devin Haney for years. You know what I mean? Until that Linares fight. So, and it's like that with Shakur now. Like, there's some guys whose defense is so great, like you don't know what you're gonna get when they get hurt or clipped or hit with a clean shot. Like, because it's so hard to land them. And so, like, I kind of put Abdullah in that category. Now, I think Abdullah is great. He passes the eye test. But he ain't been in there with nobody with power and speed like Floyd. So that would be a 50-50 fight for me, DJ. What you think?
Well, they're the ones that interest me the most. Forget the names. Like, for me, what gets me in, or at least why I stay in, sometimes the nobodies for me just digging deep, 50-50 fight for all 10 or 12 rounds, like that absolute 50-50 contest. I enjoy the contest, not the hoopla around it, right?
Yeah.
So if you can find me as many 50-50 fights, give me a Friday night 50-50, right? I would sit there every Friday night and watch it, because there's just not an easy pick. Or you're waiting. It's not about who's going to win. It's going to be about what round it's going to be won. So where it's I would rather intrigue and contest rather than predictability. So that's why when we were watching Floyd there the other day, I immediately went to Abdullah and just thought, well, one's got 18 fights, the other one's got 16 or 17 fights. They're around about the same, I suppose, prospect or contender
Yeah.
quality at the
They walk. Yeah, they coming
same
out.
point in their career.
Yeah. But that's one of them future championship matchups that you want to make too early. I look at that. That's one of the ones where you see like these guys will generate so much cash if they fighting for belts against each other. That's how promoters look at it. I don't know. Like as fans, we look at it like, yo, we just want to see these two good dudes fight. These two fighters, two great fighters, get in the ring together. But as promoters, they're like, man, you know how much more excitement and interest it'll garner if they fighting for
Well,
that. You know what I mean?
if promoters didn't learn a hard lesson, and I always come back to this more recently because I can't talk to the whole history of boxing, but most recently, if promoters wait too long and try to
Try to milk it.
promote, milk it, promote fights, those sorts of things, the 5 years that it took for the Spence and Crawford,
And
um,
Pacquiao Mayweather, same thing, 5 years.
well, Pacquiao and Mayweather wasn't a complete one-sided wash, right?
Wasn't
What I'm
almost like Floyd was doing some great countering in that fight, bro. I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like I ain't going. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I thought Manny was gonna win that fight, but I bet on Floyd. Is that weird?
So, when fighters actually hit, any athlete hits a peak, right?
Yeah,
So you hit a peak in the career where you're at the peak of your powers, whether it's NFL, whether it's athletics, whether it's boxing. Some boxers and athletes don't always hold that peak for 10 years, 15 years like others do. So if you're recognizing the danger that when you don't take advantage of two fighters when they're at their peak is when they do come together 5, 10, 6 years later, they're not at their peak and it's not the contest that you once thought it was going to be.
yeah, yeah. Because it's like we didn't get. I don't know, man. Because everybody used that Manuel Marquez knockout as an excuse, but I don't think that took away too much from Pacquiao. He just got caught with a clean ass shot. It happens. Like when you bullshit around like that. You got timed perfectly. But I didn't think that affected him to the point where what happened to Floyd met like that was the reason. No, it's just Floyd Mayweather, it's just superior. It was just superior. Can we just say it? Say it. That the dude was just levels above everybody. This is what it is,
Yeah,
man.
and
People just
and
come
that
like
and that's why you shouldn't always use him as the example, because he's more the exception than the example. So look, I'd watch Floyd fight again. It certainly wasn't boring. And there was a bit of interest in there. Like he's got some class, he's got some timing, he's got some footwork. He demonstrated he's got a bit of a chin.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I think it's probably just that maturity piece, like just staying focused and matured to the end goal. Because it almost looked towards rounds 10, 11, and 12 that he'd realised he wasn't going to get the bloke out of there, and he actually almost looked better because he'd stopped going for that knockout.
True, because he was going hard. Like I think that fight showed him that some guys you just can't knock out no matter how hard you hit them. Some guys just got that unbelievable ability. I don't know where it comes from, how it's made, or something you're born with. No matter what you do, and no matter if they win or lose the fight, you're not knocking this guy out. And he got one. They put him in there with a guy like that to see if he can handle it mentally, and you could tell that kind of affected him. I seen that too. It frustrated him. The thing about it, you're hitting the dude with everything but the kitchen sink, and he's still just coming forward, coming forward, coming forward. See, that's why I say boxing is really 70% mental, and that affected him. So like, what you gonna do if that happened with so now vice versa? What you gonna do if you go in there with somebody like Shakur Stevenson with that crazy defense and you can't land a punch on him because his defense is so crazy? Is it gonna frustrate you the same way or even more? Like these are the questions I have after that fight. If Shakur catch you with a clean shot, are you gonna throw your game plan out the window like that in your biggest fight of your career? So it's like I don't know, bro, because I know that all the fighters you name, Abdullah Mason, Keyshawn Davis, Shakur Stevenson, they all buttoned up and they keep their composure. So I don't know, man. We see he could come undone sometime in there. And I think that was the first time I've ever seen somebody miss the stool sitting down. So that's how pissed off he was. I don't think he
Nah,
was
they
hurt.
moved it on him. They
Like
moved it on him.
they moved it on him. All right, because I
No,
was like, listen, bro, I was thinking it's one of those situations where he was just so angry that he just sat down like fuck it. But I don't think
no. Look,
hurt.
if you do look back, it was there when he walked to the corner. Like as he got to the corner, that's where the stool was. But as they were taking his guard out and he was standing up and just they were starting to talk to him, they put it more in the corner,
And he
and
sat
he must
down. He thought it was in the
he
same
must
spot.
yeah.
Muscle memory, hell yeah. And missed that shit. And then the whole world clown. Oh my god, was they doing him so dirty online, bro? Because you never see that ever. And if you do see it, the camera and catch it. Camera straight caught that shit because he just came out of a crazy exchange. It was hilarious. But like, yeah, right now, I think only problem. And it's funny because I was surprised by that too, DJ. Because you see how relaxed and calm he come off during interviews. So you're like, I like this kid's style. He calm, he relaxed, he don't get too crazy. And then in the ring, it's like, hold up. Because he remind me of Sean Porter like crazy. I'm a prototypical Sean Porter. Like, and he had that same problem. When you caught him with a clean one, he threw the game plan out the window and just slug with you. That's kind of funny to me.
Well, I made the comment to Slick during the fight. I said, look, there's a bit of dog in him that it's not the same, and I'm not trying to compare the two, but over the years when you've seen Crawford get caught with a good one, he gets violent.
They get
Like
violent.
he gets Crawford gets proper violent, and I liken that to a little bit of what I was seeing with Floyd the other day. Oh, I got caught with one. Now I'm going to get violent on you. But he couldn't make the dents in him that he thought he could. But look, there's a bit going on. Look, I don't think there's any rush for Floyd. I like
No,
anything. As soon as someone has a couple of good wins, they want parts of the boxing community want to rush him to the top and say, give him Tank, give him
that ain't nothing
Shakur,
new.
give,
But he
and
been calling Shakur out, man. He said Shakur don't got that dog in him. I'm like, ooh. A 3 division champion, bro? Are you serious? You saying that right now? Like, nigga, are you crazy? Like, why would you say that? Like, we all seen that he got the dog. Like, you the one who got the dog, but you don't got that. Yeah, you got that. Yeah, like a counter puncher can fuck you up, bro. Like, that's what I see from Floyd. Like, you know what I mean? What's up, RC? Shout out, brother. You done over there arguing about football, man? You know you can't talk shit in a football conversation when your team got a losing record, man. You'll never win.
Oh, you're just going to fire. He's probably still fired up, Punch.
I
He's
already
probably
know he is.
he's probably taken a spell from G Fish.
Well, I'm kind of lucky in that aspect, DJ. Like, I ain't had to go through that in like the last 13 years because my coach never lost, had a losing season ever, like ever in his whole career. So it's like, yeah, I can kind of like you can't hold that, you can't talk shit to me like that. Even when we having a losing season, we ain't having a losing season. Like, you know what I mean, DJ? Like, yeah, we always make the playoffs, like always. So I ain't had a conversation like that in a long time with nobody. But when it happened, I felt my nigga RC's pain, man. When your team come out looking the way they was looking, because in the first couple games they looked spectacular. And they looked like they was primed to have a good run, and then they got plagued by injuries. So it's kind of hard to talk shit to a nigga whose team is plagued by injuries. It's not like it's the complete team out here with 2 wins. No, they got a ton of injuries, so it's kind of hard to rub that shit in. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we kind of got a weird in the two biggest leagues that we've got over here during the winter, the rugby league and the AFL, is that it's definitely a losing season if you don't make the semi-finals. So they're the playoffs equivalent, right? The semi-finals. But if you continue to make the semi-finals and you get kicked out of them, like because it's an elimination type sort of setup. But if you continue to make the semis and every single year for 10 years and you don't perform and get to the grand final or something like that, well, that just as quickly turns into a unsuccessful season and a loss. So I think the bar just keeps getting the expectation, and the bar keeps rising from a spectator point of view over here with the teams that they follow and the codes that they follow. So I would agree that it's if you're making the playoffs every year for 10 years, that's not a complete failure or unsuccessful, but as a franchise, you'd expect that you want to see improvement over a period of time where
Yeah.
you continually go one better. You learned something last year, you've made some changes tactically or with your roster, then you do a little bit better the next year, and eventually you want to be knocking on the door of a Super Bowl somewhere. But you know,
Super, Super Bowl.
fans can be fickle.
Let me tell you how it is about with that goddamn Super Bowl, bro. That fucker is not easy to win. You gotta understand. See, like I don't know how rugby works. Is rugby single elimination, or do y'all got more than one shot in y'all playoffs?
So let me explain it to you really quickly. So there's 8 teams make the playoffs, right? The top teams get a second chance. So what you'll see one and 1 and 4 play, 2 and 3 play, right?
Mm-hmm.
5 and 8 play, 6 and 7 play. So the winners out of the bottom half of that 8 get to play the losers out of the top 4, right? While the winners of the top 4 get a week off,
Oh,
if
okay.
that makes sense.
All right. So with it,
That's how it works in rugby league. So
so you get
progressively,
more
as
than
you
one.
get
So hold it.
no,
So if you
only
win,
some teams do. Not
okay,
everyone gets 2 chances.
okay, the top
Only
three.
the top 4 teams out of 8 get a second chance.
Okay. Now here's a question: what if one of the teams that one of them top 4 teams is playing beat them? Do they get 2 chances now, or is just no?
No, so you can't lose 2 games in a row. It doesn't matter where you come from, right?
Okay.
So if you lose the first round of the playoffs in the bottom half of the 8, right, you're out, you're gone, right?
Yeah.
You no more games, right? But if you lose a game in the top 4, it means you get a second chance by playing the winner of the bottom 4.
Okay, so we got all right. So how it works for us? I think all right. I think they explained. All right, we got four division champions, 2 wild card teams, 6 teams on each side. You know what I mean? Uh, so the 4 teams that win the division automatically in the playoffs. 2 teams can sneak into the playoffs with good records, like good enough records, like you know what I mean, to make it. Now, how it work is normally the top team in the conference, they get a bye week. They don't play the first week of the playoffs. It used to be 2 teams, but they turned when they added it used to be only 1 wild card team, but they added another wild card team. And so what they did was the top team in the conference get the bye week, and then everybody else got to play. Where it used to be the top 2 teams, now it's just the top team. So what happens is the you know how the same way you did it, 2 versus 8 is just not 1. You know what I mean? So like the 2 lowest teams who won their division with the lowest records, with the weakest records, but they won their division, they play the 2 wild card teams. You understand how that works?
Yep.
And then that's how it moves on and on and on. Now, it's only single elimination. You know, if you lose, no matter if you were the best team in the fucking conference, you're out. Like, so you could have the best fucking regular season in the world and always losing the first round of the playoffs. It happened to some of the best quarterbacks who ever lived. You know what I mean? So the Super Bowl is super hard to win. But see, I'm one of them. My team, luckily, I just remember I was born into this. My team just wanted my team wanted the most. You know what I mean? We won it 6 times, and the only other team that did that was the Patriots. Like Tom Brady, remember he got 7 fucking rings. 6 of them was in New England by itself. So he got 6, we got 6, and then the 2 teams are 1 or 2 teams with five Super Bowls. So it's really hard to do. There's a couple teams that they didn't even win one yet. Like you know what I mean? It is extremely hard to do. It's the Super Bowl. I think the 2 hardest sports to win. In American sports is the Super Bowl and the World Series, bro. Because the shot at it is so rare, but so that you super have to capitalize when you get there.
Yeah.
Everything got to
So
fall in place. I don't know how rugby championship is, you know what I mean? But it's that hard. Is it extremely hard to
well,
win the rugby championship? Like, can you repeat? Is that a common
yeah,
occurrence?
it's not common, but it can happen on a rarity. But to put to support what you're saying about how hard it is, right? There's never been a team outside of the top 4. So remember, the playoffs are 1 to 8. There's never ever been a team that's won the whole thing from from position 5, 6, 7, or 8. It's just too hard.
All right, yeah. So it's hard for a lower seed to win it, basically, because them top teams are so well put together, basically, right?
Well, no, you just need to win so many more games at the same level. So you got to imagine that the top 4 get 1 less game, or they get 2 chances, where the bottom 4 have got to win every single week just to get to the grand final.
All right,
So
so
they've
it's
got
more out of
to win their first round of the playoffs, right? Then they've got to win their second round of the playoffs. Then they'll go into a qualifying final, right? And they've got to win that to get to the grand final. And then
wow.
if they get there, they've got to win that too, right? So it ain't for the faint-hearted. But look, my team at the moment has been consistently getting the last. I think we won the grand final in 2017. But we've been consistently inside the top 4, like to get to the
Hold on.
playoffs every year.
At the moment, DJ, y'all switch teams?
No, when I say at the moment,
Oh,
their
okay.
current form, because the years prior to 2017, I wasn't with a different side. They just weren't making the playoffs. But since 2017, they've been consistently making the playoffs, right? And
All right.
only made it to the grand final once and lost that. So it's hard to do.
Yeah. I get it. Well, bro, listen, man. My team went to the ain't been to the Super Bowl since 2010. That's how hard it is. Like to even get to that motherfucker. Like
See,
yes, like the Chiefs is enjoying their time in the sun, man. But they've been there 3 out of like the last 5 times. But it ain't easy, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like right now, they're 7-0 right now. They look fucking unstoppable. They could lose in the first round. Probably will in the first 2 rounds. Like you know what I mean? So like that's how weird the NFL is. The best teams always seem to fuck up in the playoffs, bro. The best team in the regular season rarely wins the Super Bowl. That just start happening with the Chiefs. Like you know what I mean? That don't happen
well,
that often.
it might be because they've expended too much energy and emotion during the regular season, right? And they got nothing left in the tank at the end of it.
That
It's a
can happen.
tricky balance for coaches and training staff. Mark just said his team in the AFL. I wasn't talking about the AFL, so to speak. It could be a little bit different, but one of the teams in the AFL has won from outside the top four. So look, it's just hard. But see, with rugby league, and I can't talk to AFL with the same knowledge that I've got with rugby league, but our teams have a salary cap. So each team has exactly the same total salary that they're allowed to spend on players, right?
Uh-huh.
What so what that's supposed to do is you're allowed to have a little bit of a small exemption for what they call marquee players. So they're like the superstars. But one team, if they're more financial, if they've got more sponsors or they're more financially sound, just can't go and buy all the best players in all the same positions because we don't have a draft, right?
Uh-huh.
So what they do is they
So
put a
what
salary cap on all the teams to try and encourage fairness.
are they a
And
bunch of multimillionaires like NFL players?
oh no, not even close. So the example, who's
Oh, so no five
off?
hundred million dollar contracts for rugby players, huh?
Oh hell no, they'd get the the best of the best would get, and they're normally like a quarterback equivalent. They're normally like a halfback or a 5/8. That's the position sort of thing that
Yeah.
controls the team and gets them around the park. And um, probably 1.5 to 1.6 million dollars per
Oh my
season.
God, why are they so underpaid with rugby so popular of a sport?
Well, because first of all, our supporter base is split. Ours is across the country. It's split between rugby league and AFL, right? Those that follow winter sports, it's played in our winter, right?
Yeah.
There's a handful that watch rugby union and soccer and those sorts of things.
So
But
everybody got their hands in the pot, basically.
no, it's it's like equivalent to pay-per-views, right?
Yeah.
If pay-per-views are our form of subscriptions, right? We've got 27 million people in our country. You guys have got close to 400 million.
Yep, 379 and counting.
Yeah. So there's just not the sheer masses that injects the money
Okay.
back into the
Yeah.
sport.
So the NFL generates $7 billion a year. Easily. Per year.
Look, it's
You
look,
tell me
it's
rugby don't generate a couple billion?
uh look, I wouldn't know because it's not as well publicized. Like like you do see some numbers flying around, but
Yeah, because I watched the
I'm
World Cup, bro, and it's pretty impressive, man. I would think they was making way more money than that. That's kind of crazy because soccer players make a lot of money too. So you would think rugby players would make just as much, like or at least close. That, as physical as that sport is, those guys deserve the top guys deserve at least $10 million contracts. I agree, but that's
but
penal
it's all
players here. Some of
but
the players here wipe they ass with $10 million.
but it's all relative though too. Like when you think about it, they're still those two codes, rugby league and AFL. The best of the best in those codes are still far outweighing by comparison the best of the best in other codes and other sports around our country, right?
Okay, yeah,
So our best male soccer player, or was probably playing overseas, but in Australia might get $150,000 a year, right?
That's fucking crazy. So I know a lot of them players was mad as hell. George Kambosos made $20 million fighting Devin Haney, and these motherfuckers been the top guys in their sports for years. Not getting close to that. That's not fair.
Yeah, well, it's just sheer population limits the amount of income that you can generate. If you've got if you pay taxes in a town that's got, I don't know, 50 people and they all pay $10 each, that town can only generate $500. But if you've got taxes in a town that's $100,000 at $10 each, well, there's $10,000. So it's just mathematical. It's not.
Yeah, I understand. Because like Mark just kind of waded in, like he said, the AFL whole team salary is about $14 million a year, and that's for 44 players. Whew. Highest player in the AFL is about $1.6 million a year.
I tell you, Punch, if you were ever come to Australia and you got the opportunity to go and watch an AFL game live, well, just as much as I would say a good game, not just any game in the rugby league, but if you can go and watch an AFL game live, not right on the boundary, but just a little bit higher, so you can see what that everyone's doing, the work rate, the running, everything that they're doing. There's no question they're some of the fittest people on the planet. Mark,
Man,
what do they reckon that the average distance per game some of these players run? Like, it's ridiculous. They run something like 20 kilometers or something like that each game by way of equivalent.
that's insane. That's why I think they underpaid, man. I think they should get paid more. But I mean, when you say that there's only 26 million people there, you would think, because like I look at the general interest in rugby around the world is crazy high. Like billions of people watch the Rugby World Cup. How are they underpaid? It just makes no sense to me. You would think sponsors would inject more money into the sport just because they see how much money all the other sports are making. Like
Well,
MLS
they
players making $40 million a year, and that's MLS. We barely watch soccer here. They making 30-40 million a year.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
but the Rugby World Cup, he let me let me give you some just round figure statistics, and it's all fucked up a little bit depending on where your position is. So for every other day, so the World Cups are held every 4 years, right? So the biggest World Cup out of all sports ever is the Soccer World Cup, hands down,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Now, FIFA, who are the controlling bodies of soccer, right,
yeah.
give the equivalent of, I think, the males game returns something like 1.5 billion or something like that in revenue, right? And FIFA give the males, like back to the teams or the countries, right, that compete, give back, I think it's 8 or 9% of
Wow.
those earnings, right? Women that generate, I don't know, what was it, 650
I
million
think
or
they generate
600
like 600,
million,
600, seven
something,
hundred million. Yeah.
actually have their investment given back to those teams closer to 17 or 18% of the total revenue. So what you do is for the rugby and the rugby league World Cups, it's not a 4 year sponsorship. It's a
Uh,
4 month sponsorship where they just see this big event coming in, and you've got all these corporate sponsors that want to get their names up there, Emirates, Riyadh, or Nike, all these like big players, right? But they only want to invest for that 2 month period that the World Cup's on, not the 4 years before it leading up to it and the 4 years after it before the next one.
all right. So that makes that I understand that now, but still, man, like that's crazy, bro. Like you, like man, it's still like y'all. That rugby is some physical shit going on, bro. They be breaking their bodies for pennies. When you see how much how high paid the average pro athlete is in most sports is over $1.4 million, bro. Like race cars
Yeah, look,
more than
they're,
that.
they're making some headway, so no different to NFL players, boxers. There's now for the
Like
minimum
that's the
limit.
league minimum in the NFL, right? 1.4. That's what the veteran minimum. That's what veterans get that. Like that's like guaranteed. Like if you play more than 8 years in the NFL, you get $1.4 million for any team you play for. You know that, right?
Yeah, so the minimum for a male player in rugby league, if they come under the salary cap, is $50,000.
That's fucking horrible, bro.
But they
Hey,
will never they will never ever play.
do they play
What
for
they'll
like the Stars play for like that one team, or do they play for like multiple leagues? Or
no, they just play for their what's called club side. So they're all clubs. So what you call a franchise, like a Cowboys or a 49ers,
yeah,
we call a club. It's
I'm gonna
still
start.
like a franchise, but we just call them a club.
I'm gonna start getting,
Um,
bro. I'm gonna see if I can find me a favorite rugby squad.
well, I'm going to send, because Slick keeps bringing it up, I'm going to send something in the group chat, probably one of the better examples of rugby league that you can watch.
And my mind,
And
rugby look like football where they throw the ball to the side instead of forward.
we, you're not allowed to throw it forward. That's one
I
of the
know.
rules.
I thought that was. I think that's a cool. I think that was interesting. But I was like, all the things that didn't make sense. You explained it to me. Like, where I asked you, like, what's the point of the field goal? Like, why do they gotta like butt their heads together like that and push the pile? You explained all that to me. So it made
Yep.
it more interesting. Like the first time I watched it, I was just fucking confused, bro. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Like they just scored. What's happening here? Oh, all right. I just seen him truck him, and break onto the outside. I know what that meant. But then it's like, okay, well, how is that a field goal? It was confusing. But when you explained it to me, I'm like, okay, I get it now. I told you I was watching a movie. One of my favorite movies was about the Rugby World Cup, and I was so confused, but I loved the movie. It was weird. But you explained like what certain shit mean, so
Look,
I get it now.
I think any sport, and I made this point to you guys before, that boxing can be so confusing. Other than watching two people in the ring for 3 minutes over 10 rounds or 12,
Yeah,
right?
a lot
Just
going on.
punching each other, right? Understanding the how the sport actually works is very
Yeah,
confusing for someone.
super.
So it's actually no different. And Mark makes a good point too, right? You go and watch a game of AFL, right? It actually just never stops, really. You've got like the game just never stops. There's not this time out and everyone comes to the sideline. They get on the same page about what strategy or what move or tactic they're going to do. The games in Australia are designed to incorporate fatigue. That's
Wow.
part of the strategy. So, rugby league, rugby union, AFL,
Is
one
that
of
why
the
Australia is always one of the top World Cup teams because of that strategy?
no, I think that, well, for rugby league, we've just got a stronger national competition compared to some of the others. AFL, other than Gaelic football, I think
It seems like
is
y'all in New Zealand is the top dogs in rugby, international wise.
oh, well,
In
just
England,
rugby. See, there's rugby league and rugby union. Rugby
yes.
union, almost always, it's New Zealand, men and women. They're the top in the world.
Yeah, that team is badass.
Well, they've just got such a strong culture that's
They look
been
like
built over.
they bred to be rugby players in New Zealand.
Well, that and they're just bigger and probably faster than everyone else.
Yeah, there's a
But
bunch of big, strong, angry looking motherfuckers, man. They're fun to watch. That's what made me
well,
watch it. Watching them All Blacks, I seen a highlight of them on ESPN. Like, what is this sport? Who is these guys? They was tight. And that
yeah,
crazy thing they do before the game,
oh, the haka.
haka,
Yeah.
crazy.
So the origins of the haka is that once upon a time before civilization, we'll call it, is tribes used to do a war dance to pump themselves up before they used to fight for territory.
That's a war,
Uh,
Dad. Get it, man.
yeah,
They say a lot of people
yeah,
be intimidated just as soon as they do it. Like it was so intimidating. I'm like, for real? I was like, I dig it, but we got like football teams got a similar things. Not like the Hawker, but we got similar mind tricks like that. I get it. I like it.
So it's actually represents a genuine, real life cultural thing that used to
Yeah,
happen
yeah.
back in the day
They
before
do it for
civilian.
football. They do it for a lot of sports. I was watching this little thing where they were showing how many different sports they did that they do that in. And I was like, oh,
Yeah, look, they take a lot of pride in it. Now some of it's about commercial, like to your point. It's commercially attractive for people to watch it. It's interesting,
yeah,
you know,
like me.
those sort of
It caught
things.
my attention. That's what made me want to watch rugby. Like, who is this squad? What is that? Oh, I want to know more. You know what I mean? Instantly. That's the point,
Well,
right? And your culture, right? If you got like, you know what I mean? If it's interesting.
Tonga, Samoa, like The Rock, he's Samoan.
Yeah.
Um, so they all have similar cultures when they come to, like, I guess, Polynesian areas that are
Yeah,
in and around Australia.
one of my mama's best friends is Samoan, man. And like her like we go like her mom was like one of the meanest people ever, bro. I don't know if all Samoans is like that, but goddamn, they all seem angry, bro.
No, they're not, mate. They're actually. I think they can afford to be happy and go lucky because they're just so fucking big. Like, what
Man,
are they
all
got to
huge.
complaining about?
Yeah,
Yep.
the
So
whole culture is
no,
like panic.
no. Look, I'm sure there's angry people in their culture, no different to your culture, my culture, those sorts of things. But I got to tell you, for the majority of the Polynesian people that I've met in my lifetime, they're funny, they're easygoing, they're actually quality people.
Yeah, 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 bro. As
Um,
you got my wheels turning about rugby, bro. I'm about to start. I'm gonna start scoping out the sport and see if I can find me a favorite squad, bro. But it's like, how do I find who's the best player in? All right, so I know rugby. I know there's two different like leagues, but who's the best? Like, I know y'all got one best rugby player in the world. Who's that? Or is it like the best players in one league? But I know there's like a clear cut like best player in the world. You know how all sports got like that best player in the world, like all sports. Is there one like that for rugby? Like who's the LeBron James of rugby? What you say? What you say, Mark? When they get angry, you get the fuck out the way. Hell yeah! It's like against Samoans.
Look,
Where about?
I'm going to send you and Slick on the group chat, just not the whole game, but some highlights of what we call state of origin. So they're the best players from New South Wales and the best players from Queensland, right? And they play a 3-game series. So in sending those, there's going to be people that you're gonna pick, like you're gonna see. If you just
Okay.
give me a number, right, I'll be able to tell you what club they play for, and if you want to follow them, you can.
Okay.
The other thing I was going to do is I was just going to send you some highlights of the teams that are going to come over to Vegas in March next year.
Yeah, because rugby's starting to gain some traction over here in the States, man. And
Yeah,
y'all just
years ago.
maybe that's the path to the big money, man. Like get some traction over here, and then y'all get the big money, man. And the players get the big money. You know what I mean? Attract some of these American sponsors over there.
Well, it's the other way around. Actually, it's attracting some of the next level athletes that you've got over there in the US that might not make an NFL side or might not make the track and field side or
Come to rugby and be
come
stars.
come across Australia or England and make good money because you still get sponsorships. Like the 1.5 that I was talking about was just the payment
It's
from
the
the club.
salary. Yeah, so you get big
Right?
sponsorship deals and stuff like that, right? All right.
Yeah, look,
Okay. So like they could get like a $40 million shoe deal from Nike or something.
yes, but they just got to disclose it, and it gets a little bit technical as whether some of that falls
Okay,
under
so
the.
they can make
But
some money for real. Okay, bro.
oh
That's what.
hell yeah, oh hell yeah!
Yeah. Okay then.
If
Yeah.
if
Okay.
they only made 1.5 a year, Unless
That's still
that
a
was the
travesty, man. But they should make at least a little bit more than that. If you putting they sacrifice their body a lot in that sport, bro. You deserve to get compensation, real compensation. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to be the top dog to make a real paycheck when they sacrificing your body. Like I
yeah,
think
but
the minimum money for people in that sport should be 500,000. You know, a year.
so it, so you got to understand though that it takes time to actually build that finance base. So if they used to play for nothing, like the origins of this sport was that everyone used to have a full-time job, right? And on a Tuesday and a Thursday night after work, they'd go to training and play on a Saturday or a Sunday for no money, right? Now that it's become commercialized, it's going to just take a while. They're slowly getting paid more and more and more and more, right, over time as the product builds, more sponsors come in, the fan bases build, and those sorts of things. Just takes a little while to get there. Um, so I'll send you some stuff in the group chat. That's probably the easiest way, and then you get to look at probably the best 30 players that our game's got to offer. And then if you like the look of someone in that, maybe that's the team that you want to follow or keep a bit of an eye on before next year, because it's finished now.
Yeah,
Getting back to boxing.
we got a
If
couple
you
big names coming up fighting boxing wise. But go ahead. What was you about to say?
has anyone heard from Heavy? Like, I just can't.
Yeah,
I
we were talking to him earlier today in the group chat. He was a little disappointed. You know, he was trying to get the media credentials to go to the backstage and interview the fighters, and they turned him down because it had demand. So he's a little unhappy about that. But shout out to RC, he gave that nigga a loophole. You know what I mean? So he think it should be okay though. But he got tickets to that fight, but he wanted to get backstage and get some interviews done. But they
is he still
turned
excited though?
extremely excited. It's Keyshawn Davis hometown. That dude's like a hometown hero, bro. So he got floor seats to that fight. You know what I mean? So he might send us some cool pictures and stuff. You know, and yeah, man, it sounds like that he still got a way to get some interviews done. He gonna still be at the weigh-in. You know, so we gonna
So
still get good content from Tia.
that's on your Friday night, isn't it? That card,
Yeah.
because Boots is fighting on your Saturday night.
Yep. Next night. So we got Friday and Saturday coming up this weekend. Yeah.
Mark, you might have to ring your boss early. Although, no, that works out for us. Friday and Saturday. Shit, we could be exercising all weekend.
That's what we're doing tonight, man. That's why them NFL streams get so heated, man, because we all be feeling good and it gets kind of real. All right, it'll be like that on boxing too sometimes though. You ain't seen us get heated about it yet, but it's gonna happen. Wait till but like imagine the hell I'm gonna catch if Crawford lose. Imagine the hell everybody gonna rain on me. I'm ready. Even though it's not gonna happen because I really firmly, truly believe in my heart he gonna retire undefeated. But it can happen. You never know. Like, but I'm ready for that bullshit I'm gonna catch if we do lose.
I can't. For the life of me, I'm not saying it won't happen, but I just can't see that he's going to just take a fight for the sake of taking a fight, like the Virgil Ortiz rumors or the Murder Zaliev stuff. I've just got this feeling that's not piquing his interest. It's just got to be a massive payday,
Definitely gonna.
or it just doesn't, because he hasn't got anything to prove.
It's gonna be. You gotta think. If you, I'll say anything concerning Terrence Crawford is gonna concern a gigantic payday, a quality opponent, and a title. So if they don't fall into those categories, he ain't fighting. He's done fighting for recognition. Now he's fighting for, legacy and money. That's it. So it's
I
like,
don't even think it's about legacy, though. That's my point. I think it's more just
well,
about
no, I'm talking
money.
about ultimate legacy. I'm talking about like that number one crown, that spot. He wanted to dethrone Floyd, and the only way to do that is to become 3-time undisputed. There's no other way. He do that, it silences all the doubt, all of it. So it's like, you know what I mean? I think that's the path he's on. It's either break the 50-0 record or become 3-time undisputed. Like, because some people think Floyd Mayweather is better than Muhammad Ali, man. Yeah, I don't think so, but
I see him, in my opinion, I see him taking only 2 fights. One against Canelo, right?
Yep, and Charlo.
And
Or
no,
possibly that Spence rematch. He
no.
seriously wants that. He wants that.
Well,
Oh, he
maybe,
wants that,
but
dude. He wants to give
in,
Spence his get back, though. He really do, genuinely.
yeah, that's okay too. But he probably
Even though we
doesn't
know
feel
what's
good.
going to happen, you know what I mean? But yeah, he's grateful that Spence gave him the opportunity to prove to the world that he's the man. Like, he's a humble dude like that. So he's like, man,
Well,
I'll definitely, we agreed on a rematch. I'll give it to you. It's cool.
that. Yeah, okay. But I still think it's going to be either for undisputed at 154 against whoever's got the other 3
Yep.
straps,
Or
because
or
he won't go and pick up every individual strap. I can't see him doing that.
nah, that
It's
take
not
long.
worth his while.
Yeah.
And he could be blocked and politics and all that sort of crap, right? So if a Spence, a Fondora, a Charlo, a whoever has 3 straps, and they tap Crawford on the shoulder for undisputed, and he can get I reckon he'd be interested in that 3 times undisputed, or the Canelo fight. They're the only.
Either one of those fights is legacy defining. If you jump up 3 weight classes and beat the face of boxing, yeah. If you become 3-time undisputed, same amount of prestige. So, yeah, I think that's the path he's headed on, and he got 2 fights to do it. Because I don't think we're gonna get more than 3 out of him. He ain't gonna be fighting 40 years old. So, yeah, I think we got So we'll just see who they pick, who the opponent can be. Like the champions at 154, I think he might wait. One got 2 belts, so if he go out, so it wouldn't that be surprising? Like I think what he's gonna do is he gonna get the winner of Fundor or Spence, and then he gonna go after Morataliev and become 3-time undisputed. If the Canelo fight fall through, because it's just seeming more and more less unlikely that we're gonna get that fight, bro. So I think that's more the more realistic is winner of Spence Fundora, and then Morataliev. Or maybe Morataliev and then the winner of Spence Fundora. It's all about what he gonna do, man. But it's definitely gonna be one of those 3. Or
Here's how
possibly
I.
because that fucker's waiting in the wings with that champion and recess bullshit that we both hate.
So it's boxing, right? So anything's possible, right? But just hear me out here a little bit. I've got a bit of a theory. I'm of the opinion that it won't be long with the quality of opposition that Canelo has at his disposal, or who he picks. Doesn't matter what language you want to choose. And I think that eventually his stocks are going to start dropping. Right? People are just going to start losing a little bit of interest. No different maybe to me. Still got no trash talk on Canelo and what he's achieved, but knowing that the fights aren't going to be competitive, am I going to buy them? No, because I'm not a fanboy, right?
Yep.
So over a period of time, if Canelo continues to choose to not pick good contestable opposition, I think you're going to see his numbers drop. Now, if he sees those numbers drop, I think that his appetite for a Crawford fight for $100 million gets pretty big. He goes, well, okay, I can no longer sustain the guaranteed purses or the pay-per-views. I'll go after that one big last payday too. And that's where it probably might become real for Canelo. And that might only take a year or 2 for that decline to potentially happen. I still don't think he'll go one at a time belts at 154. He might get the Spence Fondora, particularly if it's Spence. If he wins that, that's a financial thing and a payback to Spence. That makes sense. But I don't see him going after a single belt at a time at 154. Just the effort level, and for him to get up for that, and probably the lack of pay-per-view unless Turkey throws in a heap, financially probably just doesn't outweigh the effort levels. So it'll be interesting. So I would just like to see a little bit more of Bud before he retires. Like any champion, you want to see as much of a champion as you can before they go and hang the boots up or go and hang the gloves up.
He's
But
one
I just,
fighter. But it's funny thing about Terrence Crawford is he's one of them fighters that when he's gone, that's when everybody gonna appreciate him. Watch, like when they start to see it, like. But hey, I, yeah, DJ, we get three more fights tops out of Bud, and it's over. He done made a ton of money in his last two fights. He made what, $50 million. So it's like, yeah, he got a couple more, and this it's done.
and I don't even think it's about that. Look, I think that
Yeah,
financially,
I mean
folks,
that's the big money fight. Spence was the big money
yeah,
fight. He said that was the
yeah.
retirement fight for real. Only reason I'm doing it now is just just to solidify myself as the greatest. It's not even about the money now, but it's just I'm the top dog. I'm getting paid how I should have been getting paid. It makes sense.
Well, maybe he just needs an extra $20 million to create another college fund because he's a rabbit. He might go and have another kid.
Swear,
So,
1,000 kids. He invested really well in real estate and stuff like that. He's a really good businessman. So he's like he pretty much secured his future and his kids' future for life. So like I
yeah.
think it's not about money no more for him. It's more about just but I want to be if I'm going when I leave, everybody going to say Terrence Crawford is the best who ever did it, and that's all. There's a lot of names in that conversation, so you got to do
Well,
something pretty eye opening to accomplish that. You know what I'm saying?
what about this then? I know that one of them's, well, maybe that they're unlikely, but just on paper, and I'm not one to actually division shop or fantasy shop. What about a Bud Crawford versus one of the better 160, one of the established 160 boys, Janabek, Jamal Charlo, Alara? That'll be interesting to watch. I'm not sure how much numbers it would actually
I think
do, but
Lara's too old. Charlo would be a good one, but he kind of that's the one he respect. He's cool with one, don't he hate the other one. Like you know what I mean. And Janet Beck make the most sense, but he's not well known enough here to generate a lot of money. But anybody Terrence Crawford is going to generate. Janet Beck would have generated more interest than Madrimov did. I think. Like, but do Janet Beck want to challenge like that? I don't know that the counter that. So, I mean, Janet Beck is strong as shit, but the count. I don't know, man. And again, the higher you keep going, man, because like 54, he was catching Madrimov, but he ain't hurting. You know what I mean?
or
So the
yeah, or
first time I seen Buzz Power's finally not translating. So it might be the same thing up there at 160, even with
or
Canelo at 168. So I don't know.
hang on, you're assuming. I don't think that Madrimov has even been knocked down before. So he's likely to just have one of those heads that you just can't hurt. No different to Boelchuk or old mate that just fought.
Oh, let's see that Madrimov get knocked down. That's actually a good question. Let's look that up.
I don't think he has. When I was doing a little bit of homework, I could be wrong and easily wrong, but I don't remember coming across any highlights or anything like that that saw him get properly hurt. So you're assuming Bud still probably hits hard as hell, right? But
Knocked
don't
down.
be
Nope.
don't be
Knocked
don't
down.
be
Right.
misled if he's don't be misled if he's just punching a head full of concrete.
That's true. That's what I say. It's kind of hard to judge on them Eastern European guys. Them motherfuckers are tough. Like very tough. So that's a good point, DJ. I'll go.
Well, look how hard Virgil hit Boelchuk a couple of times. Just didn't bother him.
And he was throwing with bad intentions, bro. So yeah, you right. And like, bro, it's like how hard Schofield was hitting that Mexican dude. It's like, hold on, he looked like he hitting this dude hard, but this dude is still coming forward, bro. I don't know. Some dudes just got. I don't know what that is, man. Is that hard? Like, is that? I don't know how. What gives these dudes the ability to get hit with these shots and just keep coming forward like that, like unaffected? It's like, wow.
I think that they've just got a different bone structure. Their skulls are thicker than others.
Like, yeah, like I know I
Look,
couldn't take that
look
punch.
at look at how hard Tank hit Pitbull Cruz and couldn't get him out of there.
Couldn't get him out of there. But I ain't
Some
saying was countering Pitbull hard too, and Pitbull was just still coming forward. So like, yeah, that's true. Like, but his style, I told you his style. As soon as he get in there with a good counter puncher, he gonna lose. I've been do that. He only comes forward. And he only throw hooks. He don't throw jabs, nothing like that. He easy to beat. Like if you
Who?
could weather that storm, you could beat him.
Who?
Pitbull.
Well, El Rayo just did it to him.
Yeah, like you gotta. All he throw is hooks. He easy to beat. Like as I said, that's what I said. I understand how he got so popular. He got a popular style. He got that Mike Tyson pickaboo shit. You know what I mean? He throw just massive hooks. But here's the difference: Mike Tyson threw to the body, and Mike Tyson jabbed. You don't do none of that. You just throw hooks all day, man. You gonna get the dude got if a person can circle the ring and counter you, you gonna get your ass kicked. And that's just what El Rayo did. That's what Rolly didn't do. I thought at least Rolly was going to do that. Like, okay, you act like everybody say he's a better boxer than they say he is. Why is he standing in the ring with Pitbull? What happened? Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, on his ass. Can't fight him like that. Tank did the same shit, moved around and just countered him. And I believe if Tank don't break his hand in that fight, he'd have knocked Pitbull out by the 11th round. I believe that wholeheartedly. I do.
Okay, but getting back to what I was saying about Madrimov and Terence Crawford's power, right?
I mean, Madrimov's face was battered, but he really he wobbled him, but he ain't really hurt him like we usually see in Crawford hurt somebody, you know?
Yeah, and when you say it didn't translate to 154, right? Errol Spencer's now at 154, right? Bud fights Errol Spence again at 154. Do you still think that Bud can actually drop him?
Yeah. If 147 Crawford puts you on the ground 3 times, 154 is going to be even hit you even harder. So, yeah.
So, I don't think it's a weight thing. I think it's just a person. If Terence Crawford had a hit a Fondora, now perhaps a Tim Tszyu or a Ramos or someone like that at 154, like he hit Madrimov.
Canvas. You're right.
We just need to see more of Madrimov. I tell you what, we're going to learn. We might see 2 big bulls going at it on the Usyk undercard because Bolchak and Madrimov are going to go at it. And I've got to tell you that I'm silently excited about that fight because that just could be one of the wars of the year.
I want to see if he fight that disciplined again. I think Bolchak gonna knock him out. I think he's gonna come out and try to stand there and slug with Bolchak, and he ain't gonna be bouncy and herky jerky. You know, if he come out like that again, I don't know, but I don't think he's gonna come out like that again. That's what I'm watching to see.
Well, I think Madrimov adopted that because that's not normal for him. I think he adopted that herky jerky stuff because what's one thing that Bud's known for? He's counterpunching.
Counterpunching.
Right? So he goes, well, how do I stay away from that ruthless counterpunching? I need to actually manage the distance and not be predictable, hence the herky-jerky stuff. Because you've got to remember that Sean Porter was doing the herky-jerky stuff in the early rounds against Crawford for the same reason.
But he was using like fabulous footwork and kept spinning him off the ropes. That was a really good game plan. The way what Madrimov did was, wow. I ain't know what to make of it, bro. It caught me off guard.
That was nothing but caution. That's all that was. That was just caution. I've got to be cautious. So, look, there's a little bit to look forward to. I'm really interested to see how this Keyshawn Davis.
Get hyped for Sam Goodman, bro, man. I don't know, man. Like I said, but I've been following Inoue's career, man. He's been getting caught, dropped. So if Goodman could knock Inoue down, because one thing that I know is that the other 2 competitors who fought him they didn't jump on him after they hurt him, after they put him down. If Goodman scores a knockdown and jumps on him, we might see an upset, bro. I ain't saying he's gonna win, but I ain't gonna be surprised if he wins. I watched his style.
Look.
Now,
from a patriotic point of view,
do Sam got that get you out of their mentality, or can you escape the round against him? I don't know the answer to this.
I don't even know how he's going to go about that fight, to be honest, because if he goes in and tries to dominate in a way, one thing that we already know, well, sometimes you can't get in a way interested in a fight until you knock him down. And once you knock him down, he just gets back up and he's just a completely different beast.
Or if you hit him with a hard counter, that happened too sometimes though. Anyway, remember when Nair hit him with that hard ass right hand and he was like, "Oh, you motherfucker."
Look, the favourite has to be Inoue. I want Sam to win just because I'm patriotic, but if Sam was to pull off that win, I reckon that might be the biggest upset of the calendar year.
It will be, for sure.
What's been the biggest upset so far?
Garcia versus Haney?
No, I reckon it's Joshua.
Oh, the way he got Joshua beat was a big one too. Yeah, but remember Haney tricked me. I say Garcia versus Haney because Ryan Garcia tricked everybody, except me. Like I know a rope dope when I see one, but everybody thought Ryan Garcia was crazy. Everybody thought he was going to get beat the fuck up, and then the opposite happened, and everybody's jaw was like, oh. So that's why I say that. But what Dubois did to Anthony Joshua was equally as shocking because I didn't think that was going to happen.
Joshua was trying to push himself up with his forehead. Dubois just went in there and just got him out of there.
You're right. That's the upset of the year. You're right. I forgot. You just reminded me that nigga tried to get up with his face. You right. I forgot he got. Yeah, Joshua Dubois, upset of the year. Oh hell yeah. See, I wanted to do an end of the year, New Year's show, but how do we do that if our days is separate? It's already going to be New Year's Day when it's our New Year's Eve.
I think that's just semantics. I think the intention's probably the most important. I don't think it really matters whether you have it on the whose 31st of December it is or whose 1st of January it is. You just book
hell
in
yeah,
and just.
Yeah, I'm gonna do I always do it end of the year pound for pound, man. I wanted you to be here for that. You know, man, I was gonna give out the rewards like knockout of the year, upset of the year. You know,
pound for pound. All right.
Yeah, my pound for pound list, bro. Hell yeah.
I think then that we've got an opportunity to debate, argue, and begrudgingly agree on a set of agreed measures that we can measure the pound for pound list the same way, rather than individually.
We're gonna make our pound for pound list by judging our own criteria, not what everybody else picked on. Fuck that. We're gonna put our criteria down, and then we're gonna pick our top 10 from that. I like that idea.
That way, we're applying the same rules. We're applying the same rules to every fighter. Because if I apply different rules, you just end up in that.
Yeah, you'll never be able to.
Well, you're not comparing apples to apples, are you? I'm looking at grapes. Mark's looking at oranges. You're looking at apples, and we come together at the end of the year and say, "Well, bananas is the best fruit." It just don't make sense.
Good analogy. I agree. So, like, every fighter is judged by the same criteria.
Lemos fight. Who are you going to go with there?
Oh man, I got Keyshawn, bro.
Keyshawn?
Sure. Hell yeah, man. Keyshawn is going to be undisputed champion one day. I told you that. Okay. I think he could be Shakur and Tank, man. I like his style. I do. Like,
did Lemos win or lose against Hitchens?
I think Hitchens has got a chance to win, but if I had to, like, I would do that how I did the most recent fight.
You missed my question.
I would want Hitchens to win, but I would bet on Paro.
No. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, did Lemos win or lose against Hitchens?
Oh, he won that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna sit here and cap, bro. You know, I don't lie about shit like that. That was definitely a robbery, for sure. Like, but I don't think we get that same performance against Paro because this is a title shot, and this dude been thirsting for one of those for years now, and he's finally getting this shot against a great fighter. So this dude ain't no picnic, and you notice Hitchens ain't been talking mad shit like he normally be. So clearly he's focused on this guy. So we'll see. But like I said, I want Hitchens to win, but I'm a bet on Paro if I was betting. Like, yeah.
Oh, Heavy will get to watch Abdullah Mason live too.
Yep.
Sabriel Matias is coming back.
Really think PBC gonna let Bud get another undisputed? I don't. That's a good question. They like putting up roadblocks, bro.
Look, I don't think that it probably, as long as Bud's got another option, I don't think that it'll burn him or give him a rash on the ass like it has in previous years and decades. I think that he's at that part of his career that he just probably just hasn't got the motivation to wait it out or get in a pisser match with PBC if that's the game that they play. But remember though too that if they do give Spence another opportunity at Crawford, well, PBC block and Crawford for undisputed nearly goes out the window. Because Crawford's got a better relationship with the WBO than PBC do.
Yeah.
And if Bud was to fight the winner for the WBC in Spence and Fondora, more likely it's probably he's only going to fight the winner if it is just Spence, I think, from a financial point of view. He's already got the WBA, and then PBC can't really do anything about the IBF because Murtazaliyev's got that, and he's got nothing to do with the PBC. So if they don't want to risk, if they want to block Bud, they'll never give him the winner of the Spence Fondora. Because once they do that, and assuming Bud wins it, PBC have lost their blocking.
And on top of that, remember he got the financial power of Turkey Ali Sheikh behind him too, who's in full support of him, like in a way in a way that Bob Earl never was. So that also might help him knock down some of them roadblocks they be trying to put the fuck up. But
look,
go ahead.
It's even if Jamal Charlo comes back, Jamel, I'm pretty sure off the top of my head, if last I checked, the only single sanctioning body that Jamel Charlo is still champion recess is the WBA, right? So
Yep.
Jamel can't even block Bud. The only way that Jamel blocks Bud is if Jamel beats Bud, right? So there's my point about if it's a Fondora or a Spence fight and Crawford wins that, it's a free-for-all for the rest of the belts, right? He's already interim WBO and got a very good relationship with the WBO. Fondora's got that, and he's lucky he didn't get stripped. They put Spence in at number 10 in the rankings to try and prevent that.
Yep.
Right. But that's only a delay tactic. That's not a block tactic. And they've got no grip on the IBF and never have. So, look, it's possible it's there for him. I'd like him to get the opportunity if he could earn it. I think there'd be a lot of people that'd be interested in watching a lot of those fights.
I think those would be great fights, and I think, like I said, man, like I know we've been hearing the rumors with PBC, man. I think they're losing their grip on power anyway. That like Al getting old, dude might be trying to just, cash out.
But let's remember though too that PBC took second fiddle to Bud when Bud fought Madrimov on the Riyadh card.
Mm-hmm.
PBC had like 3, 4, 5 fighters on that undercard.
They did.
So it's probably, if the money's good enough, PBC will be all in. And that's just business, right? But PBC just seem to have a reputation that everyone needs to default think the worst of them. And maybe that's deserved, maybe it's not. But I can't see someone like an Al Heyman, if the money's right, him turning his back on it just out of spite.
Yeah, he already proved he didn't do that because we got Spence Crawford, and he did not want that fight. So the money overtook his opinion. So yeah, I think it would put enough money in his face, and yeah, the fight will get made. I think that's what in the end that's what it's about with him. You clearly could tell that because you can tell that how he pays his fighters. Like that's why they fight. That's why they don't fight a lot, because they make so
Well,
much money they don't need to. Like Keith Thurman got $10 million to fight Mario Barrios. Was that really worth that? Hell no. That's his like guaranteed price for every fight. He won $10 million. Period.
but you got to remember now too. What's changed more recently, as I understand it, and I could be wrong, because I'm not in any way in the know with the executives at PBC, but PBC don't get a spending allowance each year like they used to with Showtime,
Yeah,
right?
no, no.
They actually have to build, promote fights out of their own bank account.
Yeah, Amazon
So
give them that. They had to show. Like I think I was reading about this. They had to. I think there was something in the contract without saying it, was like they had to show that they could sustain it on their own before Amazon gave them any bread, because of what happened with the Fox deal. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They
and
blew $1 billion, man. How do you do that? I don't know, but they did.
see, and in the back of my mind, that makes me feel like that Al and Tom and all of those would probably welcome satisfactory deals rather than outlandish deals like holdout, so that they can keep building their spending account, so that they can actually keep promoting and making other fights, because they don't have an annual budget from Amazon Prime. I don't know how Netflix is going to work, but that's not until
Shit, next
next
year.
calendar year.
Yeah, mid next year. So yeah, bro, we'll see. The Netflix got
Um,
Netflix got money to burn though. So we'll see what they do.
yeah, but they got good money to burn because they don't waste money on dumbass decisions.
Yeah, they do not. So whatever.
So
Netflix said, if you want to come over here, we need Tank and Canelo Alvarez as our headlining fights. And that's, you see right there, they already that's saying they got a good business sense.
well,
They're
this
not
could be the first
bumped
year
over
that
here on our platform. We want y'all top dogs.
this could be the first year in a long time that Tank's only fought once.
Yep, and that's because it is. Like I said, another. That's why I said. That's why RC. I've never seen RC this quiet. That's why I was messing with him the other day. Like, bro, you got a promoter who, who didn't have a backup venue. How is that possible? How? This is the face of boxing. This is super popular. You know how many people was like you know what I mean? Had they ready to book their hotel rooms, and that shit would have sold out immediately. How? Then you have a backup venue. So that tell me right there something that, like, man, do you like it? Do you really care about Tank? I don't know, because that would never happen to Canelo Alvarez ever. They'd have found a new place in 5 seconds. Am I lying?
Well, look, RC never seems to be wrong in what he's saying, and
Oh
I'm not
no, he don't.
questioning. No, no. Well, except he did lie about the Tim Zoo fight getting moved
Oh
onto
yeah.
someone else's undercard. That
Oh
didn't
yeah.
end up
Remember
happening.
he thought that hurricane was going to do major damage, but it
No, he made the statement well before the hurricane. But look, it could be anything. Maybe Amazon Prime had a look at their scheduling, right? Or something big's popped up and they've decided to go with that, and they don't have room on their broadcasting platform to suitably support the tank fight. Who knows? Like, there's so
there,
many moving
not that.
parts, and
I looked into that too to see if there's any gigantic premieres coming out, and there are. There are a couple of them. So you might be right. You might be right on that. Now I didn't think about it from that angle, but I definitely looked it up just to see, like, well, do Amazon got any big shows coming on or anything? Yep, they do. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but like, it's still
well,
funny to me though. Like, cause when you as a manager, you know, if you was my manager and I was Javante Davis, you know how mad I'd be at you right now. Yeah, because you should have had a backup. Goddamn it, we should be fighting in L.A. We couldn't get it in Vegas. Or I mean, in Dallas, they could have found a venue.
well, what's the majority of people's default position? What's the same language that they're using this week that they used 10 years ago? Oh, it's pay-per-views. Oh, he wanted more money, right? How
Yep.
long are you going to keep pushing that while the complexity of sport and sponsorships and all of those sorts of things just get more and more complex? Unless you're sitting at
Mm-hmm.
the table with the promoters, the broadcasters, and the management teams, how the hell do you really think you're going to have any clue as to what goes on?
And that's where I think places like, and so Slick hated this idea, but that's where I think where places like Netflix come in, like the streaming platforms. I told you what the next step was going to be. First of all, Netflix ain't going to charge for none of these fights. That Jake Paul, Mike Tyson shit's free. If the Canelo Alvarez and Tank come over there, if you got a Netflix prescription, you watching this shit for free. Like, you know what I mean? So eventually, what are they going to do? They're going to start signing fighters and just exclusively having them fight on their platform. And Slick said that's a horrible idea because what is it going to do? It's going to knock out the promoters. Yeah, they ain't gonna be able to compete with the big brands coming in. Like, you know what I mean? This is Netflix's attempt to see if they could generate any real money from boxing. And if they generate any real money, this is just a theory. They gonna watch what they gonna start signing fighters. Remember, I said that if it start happening, DJ, and then you
Yeah,
witness.
well,
Oh, but
they
remember
haven't done
what
it.
takes.
They,
But streaming is the end. Is the fall of pay per view, right?
I don't think they want to. I don't. It's not that they can't or they can't afford it. It's just not in their normal services. Like if you look across Netflix services from lawyers to HR to executives to commercial to
Yeah,
management of
sports section.
individual.
You right. They don't have a talent agency or nothing like that. But maybe they ready to get into that. I don't
Yeah, maybe.
the fact that they want to get into boxing because I told you like remember man like I know some like exclusive details from that you know what I mean and yeah bro like they're really like about to dive into boxing for real so I ain't saying they gonna sign no fighters but I think that's the next step if it's successful it may not be successful it may be a debacle you know what I mean but I know that the one I've been like I think the reason they ready to do this is because a few months back last year. Remember last New Year's they had the Chris Rock special live, like not like no pre-recorded shit, like live. First Netflix first ever live stream. It was the biggest fucking thing they ever did. They made so much money. Everybody watched it. Well, mainly because you know the Will Smith thing, but it was super successful to the point where like maybe we should try doing more stuff live. And the next thing to do live, next to comedy, is what boxing.
Yeah, but what's the biggest? What might be one of the biggest challenges they got there for the athlete and Netflix?
Well,
Getting them out of their current
yeah,
contracts.
the politics of it. It's
Well,
crazy.
no, it's just a legal binding contract. And I had this conversation either with you or RC or Slick, and I just said, look, you can you can throw as much stones at a promoter, be it Golden Boy, PBC, Matchroom, Queensbury, all you want, right? But the responsibility lies with the person that's actually signing the dotted line, right? You can't sign the dotted line and then complain about it. If you don't like the deal that's been put in front of you, that you're going to be essentially owned for your whole professional career, don't sign the dotted line. So I understand that the contracts might be same or similar. It doesn't matter which promotion group that you go to, right?
Mhm.
But nobody actually signs up to go to a job that they don't want to do or work for a company that they don't want to work for in the normal public space. So
True.
some responsibility has to be put on the individual that they signed an agreement. Now, if they signed an agreement out of ignorance, again, that's their own stupid fault, right? But if they signed an agreement after it was well explained to them, the pros and cons, well, guess what? That's the contract. So there has to be some responsibility on the management team and the boxer. You can't put all the responsibility and blame back on the management team or the promoting team. That's just, you got to share half or at least part of that responsibility. What do you, did you just say that the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight's free
Yeah.
on Netflix?
Yeah.
Are you going to watch it?
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I'm gonna watch it just because in hopes that Mike Tyson knocks this dude the fuck out. Because I think he don't realize that and Mike Tyson don't know how to play boxing, so he don't know how to hold back. So I want to go in here and see if Jake Paul come in here trying to play around and get knocked the fuck out by Mike Tyson. It's gonna be fun to watch if it do happen. And
Well,
if Mike gets knocked the fuck out, I'm gonna be extremely pissed off. So fair trade.
Well, you get the Barrios and Ramos fight on the same card. You get Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrato.
I was
On the,
about to say I'm gonna see KD and Amanda's rematch because that was amazing the first fight. So I'm expecting fireworks. I ain't never enjoyed a women's fight that much in my life. Actually, that was the most exciting female fight I've ever seen. I think that their fight was fight of the year over every man's fight that year. To be honest, it really was. They got it on.
has and is Oscar De La Hoya going through a midlife crisis or something? Like him dressing up and doing what he's doing. Now he's
I mean, I
talking.
get him dressing up on Halloween. It was Halloween. That's just Oscar being Oscar. But he been kind of weird forever. So yeah, I don't know, man. That's just him. It's on par with his character. He been this weird. The people just finally taking notice.
Well, he's got some
Blow
weird.
off his
He's
rocker. He was even like that when he was fighting. He been weird.
but he's got some unhealthy infatuation with Eddie Hearn, and
Eddie Hearn, Canelo
now
Alvarez.
now he's on record of now he's on record. He's now saying that Ryan Garcia is not interested in a rematch with Haney. They want Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, yeah, back and forth. But you know how Ryan and Oscar be going at it. So he in the end, Ryan usually gets what he wants. We'll see where it goes. Like, I don't care about racist ass Teofimo. He just had some more racist shit the other day. I'm tired of even hearing his fucking name. Fuck him. Like,
Well, I've been saying for a while. I don't.
boxers.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I
I don't
understand. I'm just waiting for one of these boxers to keep talking shit on and run up on him. Then we gonna talk about Tio's ass. Because he just did it again the other day. He's standing. He just keep getting worse and worse with it too. It's just like, ooh, shit. Fuck him. I can't deal with that type.
just, dude. There's so many opportunities there at 140, even
Man,
147 if he wants them. Just get in the ring.
get in the ring, bro. Like, stop talking, please. Just stop.
But he's caught up in that contractual mess with Top Rank, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. It's even worse than that. I'll tell you a little bit about that shit offline, and I think that's why he's doing what he's doing. But we'll fuck him, man. I don't want to talk about that motherfucker. But yeah, DJ, it's 1:30. I'm about to go to sleep, bro.
I know. Well, you're the one that wanted to talk some boxing, so I just thought I'd meet you halfway.
Yeah, bro. I would normally would have did this earlier, but that NFL stream was funny as hell. There was no way in hell I wasn't participating in that. And we talked about that shit the other day on the group chat. We gotta get y'all in there, man, because we gotta can y'all download like what's that hell is that called Google Video or whatever the hell it is? I'll talk to you about it offline, man, because we all be on there chatting it up, bullshitting around. You know what I mean? So yeah, you didn't earn your place into our circle. So yeah, bro, I'm gonna talk to you more about that. But I appreciate you coming up, bro, and you have a good rest of your day, homie. I'm about to get some sleep. Hold up, who's in here? Hold up,
Right.
RC coming up. Hold up, DJ. RC came in.
Oh,
Man, I just came and wish y'all a good night. I know y'all had a great day. I had to rebound from the football stuff. You get what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
man. I was saying that I was saying that to DJ earlier. Like, it's kind of unfair to kind of rag on the Saints because it really ain't their fault. They plagued by injuries. Now, if this was the Saints full team playing like this, then we could talk shit. But when a team is plagued by injury, it's kind of unfair to talk shit on their squad. Like,
And then we got major dissension with the quarterback position. Like the whole
they
team
got
been
a
turned on his ass.
going on at quarterback. They plagued by injuries. Like, and they started out so good, man. So it's not really like, yeah, that happens sometimes in the NFL. That's why you ain't hearing me. I be poking fun, but I don't take too many shots because it ain't
But you know what? I'm such an NFL and football fan, bro. Dog, you want to have your highs and lows. That's everything. Like when Ben left, Pittsburgh had a moment. Nah,
but,
they
bro,
working their
a
way back.
scary ass moment.
So that's just part of football, bro. Every team, all 32 of them motherfuckers gonna go through this.
Yeah, right now, that's what I said. Like, that's why I always say as a nine, like, you better enjoy your time in the sunshine. It ain't gonna last long.
No, it ain't. That's just the NFL. The NFL, they feed on themselves. They really do. I mean, New England had their run. Who else? You can say had a run.
New England had ours, and then
the Giants had their run with Eli and all that. I mean, everybody got their run, dog, but it don't last forever.
Everybody won so far in the 2000s except for the 49ers. The Ravens got one. The Saints got one. Steelers got two. Patriots got 7 of them motherfuckers.
7. Yep.
6 of them. Tom got 7 because he got 1 for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay got 1 in this era. Who else? And what?
Oh,
3 out of the last 5.
yeah, Kansas City and 16.
And LA
16.
got 1 too. The Rams got 1.
The Rams got 1. Yep.
Yep.
And it looked like another. This is a good example. And DJ can. And this is for DJ. Look how well the Detroit Lions are playing right now. DJ, when I say for years,
Terrible.
Detroit Lions been trash.
Terrible. Listen,
Years,
had the
DJ.
best running back in the history of the game, in my opinion, and was horrible.
Years.
See, it's I don't know if you were listening.
It might be the Lions' year, actually.
Mark and I and Punch were talking about some similarities, like some similarities to professional sport in our respective countries, and how by majority, yes, history says that some teams have gone back to back and on rare occasions, maybe 3 in a row or whatever it might be, but the majority is that your teams go through ebbs and flows, right?
Yeah.
Coaches change, key people get injured or they retire, whatever's going on.
I can't relate to coaching changes, bro. We done had 3 coaches in the last 70 years.
Yeah, Pittsburgh pretty loyal.
Okay, but the point is that what you say about ebbs and flows, right, is reasonably, I suppose, comparable to all other sports, be it soccer, rugby league, NHL, NBA. So, but at some point, you got to stop living in the past, right? You can only really talk to what is now,
right?
Because
you know what, DJ, I totally agree with you that, like, cause bro, listen, being a Steeler fan, we are some of the most spoiled motherfucking fans in history of football, bro. And
title time, baby, title time,
bro. When I say that we expect Super Bowl or bust every year. Hey, yo, DJ, swear to God, bro.
DJ, they're nicknamed Title Town.
I told him we got the most Super Bowls. Like, I tell him like how hard it is to win it, but we got the most of them. We got the most.
I see. I'm happy to table a gentleman's agreement between you and I for consideration. If you don't talk about Tim Zoo, I won't talk about Saints.
I'm about to tell you
we got
something.
All of brands, RC.
This gonna mess you up. And this is my last one. Because you put it out there, so I gotta get you. Tim Zoo is gonna be on the shelf for so goddamn long.
He might not see Timmy for a year.
Tim Zoo no more.
Maybe 15 months, DJ. Maybe.
Bro.
Well, okay. I've heard you, and I've considered my response. Right? You can take your loan application and the gentleman's agreement, and you can shove it. Right?
I'm not gonna talk about Tim Zoo, I promise. But this is the great part. No one else will either. It's okay, DJ. I accept. And guess what? I thank you for extending it, and I gladly accept. And you got my word. I will leave Tim Zoo wherever he's at. May the grace of the Most High God bless him wherever he is. Okay?
You can't take a cheap shot and then say, I'll take your gentleman's agreement. It was snatched off the table in a heartbeat when you couldn't help yourself. So,
but DJ, you had to admit yourself. You know you're not going to see DJ. You're not going to see Tim Zoo in the next 12 months, DJ. You know that's the truth.
But what your ears aren't functioning to hear properly, RC, right, is I'm of the same acceptance as you are about your Saints, right? It's not a great time for Saints. It's not a great time for Tim Zoo, right? Do we need to keep rubbing each other's nose in the dirt over it? No. That was my olive branch to you to say, look,
Accept it.
well, you kind of
Nah,
couldn't
you talk
when you,
shit first. Then
yeah,
you accept it.
yeah, you don't get your pie and eat it too, pal. I'll go the other way. You make your bed, RC. I'll make you lay in it.
Well, you know what? I got a bone to pick with you and Mark Wynn anyway, and the rest of Australia. So I hope Australia's listening, because I think it's a goddamn shame for what I'm about to say. I've heard from people around the community here in Las Vegas that Liam Paro, when Richard Hitchison was offered up to be announced, that the Australian government pulled funds and said they will not support Liam Paro versus Richard Hitchison. And I'm here to tell you, Mark Wynn, and the whole goddamn Australian government, that is a damn shame. It really is. Okay. Okay. You've had other fighters. What's wrong with supporting a 140-pound champion? Dude, that's just dead wrong, DJ. It really is, bro. Because that fight was supposed to be in Australia, but the Australian government said, no, we don't think Paro has arrived yet. I think that's fucked up.
Well,
I really do.
I'm going to start calling you King Speculation. That's what I'm going to call you.
This is what people are saying.
For someone that only ever operates by majority in fact, rather than rumor, opinion, speculation, right?
Yeah.
When did you see a legitimate document that said any, and don't call it Australian government, it'll be the state governments.
Yeah, okay, that's true. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Thanks for correcting me, DJ. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No different than it's not United States saying you can't fight Nevada. That's Nevada State Commission saying no, we're too busy. Go right. So, the reality is this: Liam Paro on his own wouldn't generate the same amount of numbers that definitely a Tim Zoo, close second to a Nikita Zoo or a Jai Opetaia. It's not because he's a lesser person or a lesser champion. It's just that the fan base for Liam Paro isn't anywhere near as big, right? Liam Paro's dad, uncle, brother, cousin doesn't have history in Australian sport to the level that Costa Zoo did. And that's unfortunately the only difference, right? Now, Richardson Hitchens isn't going to take that from a mediocre night and numbers to a big night, right?
Right.
That's true. Now, the people that are most concerned about the purses are the individual teams, right? Not the state governments. The state governments don't get a kickback from how many pay-per-views or any of those sorts of things. All they're responsible for is allowing the state-owned venues to be available, right? And then they'll get whatever hiring fee or whatever it is for that venue fee, and it'll be more a lump sum than it will be how many people come through the gate, if that makes sense.
I got you. Because Eddie Hearn was saying that the Australian state, the state of the area wherever the venue was, they wanted Paro to be at. They wanted them to help fund. Was the wording of it from Eddie Hearn.
Right, so you can take that two different ways, right? So, I read that two different ways in that rather than getting caught in semantics, that technically the governments can subsidise the venues, right? That they will pay for the cleanup teams and the preparation to clean the venues after it and maintain the amenities, the toilets, all those sorts of things. That's sometimes that the state governments can do if they really want to support it and they've really got extra money that they haven't spent so far, right?
Uh-huh.
What that means then for the promotion, someone has to actually foot the bill for the security, the parking, the facilities, the electricity, the amenities, all that sort of stuff, right?
Mhm.
So Eddie's language is to help fund it, whereas my language is, or might be that they don't charge him for everything possible. They take on some of the costs of the night as well. Not all of
Yeah.
them, just some of them. And depending on what time of year it is, it might not just be. Did he mention the venue? Because when are they due to fight?
December 7th.
Right. So December 7th in Australia, there's some really big other sports that happen in what we call our summer of sport. Cricket, tennis, swimming, all
Yeah,
have
because y'all got the Australian Open in January, right? The tennis, the big tennis thing.
well, they have a couple of lead up opens. They have a couple in Queensland. They have one over Marks Way in Perth, down in Adelaide. So they have tournaments that allow overseas players to come to Australia early and acclimatise to the heat.
Okay. Okay.
And get so. So depending on the venue itself, it might be in conflict to a bigger or an already agreed deal that goes with a big broadcasting deal. So the two biggest cricketing nations in the world, right, by way of support numbers, fan base, is Australia and India. And they play a couple of different formats, but a lot of cricket that starts in December. So if
Confusing fucking game, cricket, boy.
so they might not want to have that marquee event for Australian culture and fan group at the same time as a boxing group, or they're actually telling the promoters, you're going to lose eyeballs because a lot of those eyeballs will be back on this other sport. So sometimes it's just about being fair and honest that sometimes the timing's not the best for you. No different
Got
to how, what did we see the other night? We were watching one channel, ESPN Plus, and they didn't start the main event on DAZN until the main event on ESPN Plus had finished.
So, in so many words, what you're saying, you wouldn't put a headline fight on Super Bowl Sunday in America, just like I wouldn't do that in December in Australia.
Pretty much.
Yeah, look, we've got the combination of some pretty big for our culture and the sports that we follow, that there's repetitive or predictable dates and months of the year where there's big Australian sporting events, whether it's the grand finals of the respective codes, whether it's the start of a cricketing summer, the tennis. There's a bit of golf that doesn't get followed that much over here. So there's just other stuff going on that the UK and America wouldn't be perhaps exposed to or know about unless they're told. I've got no doubt that a fight could be made Paro Hitchens in Australia. I've got absolutely no doubt. The problem is that if it's made at the wrong place, it's set up to fail rather than succeed.
Gotcha.
And that's not fair on anyone. It's not fair on the fighters. It's not fair on the government. It's not fair on the promoters. If they can, where are they going? They're going on Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that
Eddie
was
Hearn said that was disrespectful.
I thought that was wild. Like, I got if I having him fight in a place where he just beat their champion, crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, is it crazy? Would more
Mm.
people know? Would more people know about Liam Paro if it's not Australia? Would more people know about Liam Paro in Puerto Rico
Yeah,
than what the rest of the United States or one state knows about Liam Paro?
that's true.
I'd argue the answer is probably yes. Right?
Yeah, because you just
Yeah.
explained to me why it ends up in Puerto Rico. So it makes a lot of sense. And with the prices of putting a fight on in Puerto Rico being dirt cheap, it makes sense. It really does. But thank you, DJ, for clarifying that because I was
Does-
really confused. I really
Well,
was.
who's to know? And it's none of my business. Is there someone in Richard and Hitchens' team, coach, what have you, that's got a felony record that doesn't allow him into Australia?
Oh, hell no, it's not that. Nobody knows Richard C. He's not big enough.
Anybody watching, if you want to come on up and talk, come on up.
Yeah, he's just not big enough. It's what the Australian the state I think it was Perth, if I'm not mistaken. Because that when you said that it came to mind, it was like we have it's almost they kind of resemble what you just said, DJ, but in a sense saying he hasn't arrived yet. You get what I'm saying?
Well, it'd be interesting to see if we could drag out some numbers just to get a ballpark. What the numbers were, the ticket sales, perhaps maybe not the pay-per-views. I'm not sure who actually had it. We could probably find that too. What numbers Bumbosis and Loma did in Perth? Because they're both much bigger names than Kambosos is more well known in Australia than Paro, right?
Right.
Loma is streets ahead of all of them.
Both of them.
Loma's the man in Australia. I knew that.
So if Loma can't generate good numbers in Perth, what's the chance any of the other two are going to be able to?
I mean, shit, you would have to throw the Maloney's on a goddamn undercard, I would think.
No, well, the Maloney's don't draw big numbers anymore either. They've turned into, and I've got much respect for them, but they've turned into more journeymen now.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Amen. But
it's unfair. Well, is it unfair? It's just reality. Paro just needs to set about through no fault of his own. He hasn't really fought any big fights in Australia. He's been chasing the opportunities all over the world. He hasn't had a homecoming yet.
Right.
If he gets that opportunity for a homecoming, who would he fight at 140 to get that homecoming? I mean, the big dogs, it'd be well known enough, but they're that well known enough that they'd never come to Australia at 140. You know, the TOs and those, you might have half an opportunity to get Haney across here, but Haney's in a different world at the moment.
He said he wanted 4.5 million.
Well, then nobody else gets paid. Only Haney gets paid because that's probably about that. That's probably about as much as the total pay-per-view ticket sales, and if you're lucky to break even.
Yeah, that's what Devin said. He wanted to fight him. He said he'll fight him, but it was got to be for 4.5 million. That's the only reason he was coming over to fight Paro.
Top Rank have got a pretty good record of bringing some fighters across here to Australia.
Mark Wynn said Paro's last fight here was against Brock Jarvis.
Yeah.
That's Mark Wynn. That's hardly a homecoming.
But why you mention Top Rank? Because Paro is on Matchroom.
No, when you said Devin Haney, and I was thinking about who out of the 140s might help generate good numbers and might have half interest to come across here. When I thought about Devin Haney and Loma and George Kambosos and all some of these other fights that were happening around there, I immediately started thinking of Top Rank, and that was just where a passing comment come through and thought, well, Top Rank aren't completely adverse to coming across to Australia.
Right.
Eddie Hearn definitely wants to get his grubby little fingers in the Australian because he sees the opportunity out of a Jai Opetaia, and he sees the opportunity, like the dollars that Nikita and Tim were generating here. It'll do numbers, but it's just not going to do numbers for everyone.
Right. Gotcha.
And look, let's face it. What government's not greedy? Doesn't matter where you go in the world. What government's not greedy? They don't want to earn $1. They want to earn millions. If it's not millions, it's the wrong language.
Facts.
Well, you got a point there, man.
Coming from a country where that's built on billions of dollars, yeah, we understand. We know. Our government.
We have a presidential election in a few hours, DJ. Probably the next time you talk to Beard Punch, you gonna have a new United States president.
Yep. It could be a man or a woman. This is about to be fucking crazy. We about to see.
Tomorrow is election day, DJ, in America. Ain't that beautiful?
I'm fully aware. I just out of curiosity, I catch some YouTube stuff about Camilla, about Trump, about Robert Kennedy. Who's the other one that's just changed camps? Tulsi. So look, it's not completely foreign to me. It's been beat up out of all proportions, though. I'd be nearly avoiding democracy in the US if this election's anything to go by. Trying to get people in jail, trying to indict people, trying to assassinate people. You know, like
you survived the assassination, DJ. You get shot in the ear and get hit by glass, and you the man.
It's crazy, bro.
And now they're talking about trying to influence Congress to, if Trump gets it, to influence Congress to not recognize it and kick it out.
Oh shit! Then we gonna get a civil war. Then you ain't gonna be able to talk to us no more, DJ, because it's gonna be a civil war. Then
they're gonna go fucking crazy if they do that, bro.
They do that shit.
Who are some of the more imaginable directors and movie producers these days? Just name a couple. It doesn't matter who they are.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put it in context for Quentin Tarantino.
I was about to say
come up with a script like this that represents this US election. It's even out of his scope of, I can't believe it, I'm sure.
Of craziness.
Shit, that happened in Punch State in Pennsylvania where they tried to knock off Trump. That was out there by Punch.
Yeah, that was in my state. Man, listen, my state has been blue for the last 2 elections. It was only red the one time. Every election of my lifetime, this state been blue. The only time I've ever seen it red was for George W. Bush and for Donald Trump. So I will not be surprised if Donald Trump is declared president tomorrow, bro.
Well, unless you start tampering with the voting system and you've got all these immigrants putting in their bloody sneaky ballots. California, it's against the law to show ID.
California is never going to be red, ever. That's always going to be a blue state.
Always going to be blue. Yeah.
Stop and think about that. I'm allowed to vote in California because I'm not allowed to show ID that I'm not or am a US citizen. What? Who do you want me to vote for?
Up, brother? Welcome to the show.
You want to hear something else weird? You want to hear something else weird about California? If you take your gun, DJ, and shoot somebody, the state of California says a life only spans 10 years. You only do 10 years in California. That's their life sentence.
Yep, for murder.
Yep. Only in California. Everywhere
Only in
else you
California.
experience natural life. But in the state of California, they say a person's life is changed and dictated so much only in 10 years. You're not the same person after 10 years.
So, you know what underpins all of this, RC? Fucking stoners, right? You go and legalize cannabis. These are the crazy ideas that they come up with. They go to work just stoned every day and just come up.
Wait,
Come
Nevada?
up.
The shit legal in Nevada too, Austin. I'm right
Hey,
next
this
to
is legal
California.
here too, bro. You can't diss the stoners. We ain't all weirdos.
I'm 40 minutes. I'm 40 minutes from the California border, DJ.
No, Punch, I'm not dishing stoners. I'm just saying that you've got too many of them all in the one place, right?
Yeah, well, it's the young.
I'm okay.
It's the modern motherfuckers. It's them woke people. That's them. Like doing that shit. It's the motherfuckers. It's the everybody get a trophy motherfuckers. It's those guys, yo. Like it's the I'm a man but I identify as a woman, or I identify as they, even though I'm a fucking stupid.
That's California.
Those niggas doing that shit.
Yeah,
that's another thing, DJ. California don't have men or women restrooms.
Because look,
serious. They don't.
Can we have that conversation a different day? Because I will start to get really passionate about that.
Oh man, that's annoying, man.
That's not a 5-minute exercise, right?
Let me ask you a question, DJ.
Any stupid idiot, right, that thinks that they're actually empowering females and doing the right thing for them to allow pretend females into their private space is on fucking hallucinogens. Forget being a stoner, right? You are on proper hallucinogens.
Shout out to California,
bro. California is a cesspool of crazy bullshit, bro. It's meant to be visited, not lived in. That's all I was saying.
That's it. Visit. That's it.
Hang on, didn't they have Riyadh season over in California?
Yeah, Los Angeles.
Yeah. It's the second biggest state, bro. But it's meant to be visited, not lived in, bro. Like, yeah, it's weird.
You pay for the sunshine in California.
The rent is extremely high. Like, I'm talking about 1-bedroom, 2-box apartment,
$2,000,
$1,500 a month.
Yeah,
like California.
I see people come to Australia and they pay to get out of the sunshine. It's that harsh.
Oh, so that Australia is like Arizona here. That's how Arizona is here.
Or Nevada.
Nevada. Goddamn, that desert. Ooh, yeah. RC live in the desert, bro. Same thing.
Yeah, I do.
Talking about.
Yeah. Today it was 87.
Like, you know, people like me from cold weather states, bro, we have a hard time in extremely hot places like that. Like it takes me to get used to that. Like, I came outside in Las Vegas, bro. It was 108 degrees and the sun wasn't out, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" I've never experienced like blazing hot outside, like where the air is hot. That was a first for me. So I felt like I was in a sauna outside.
We call it the blow dryer.
Oh, that's so confusing, RC. I didn't know what the hell that was, bro. So I stayed inside until that stopped, bro. Like, so I'm pretty sure it's probably like that all the time.
I'll tell you the best advantage, Punch, right? You only need 2 sets of clothes and 2 pairs of socks and 2 pairs of underwear in Nevada or Australia, right? And let me explain why. Because you can wash and dry them the same day you finished wearing them.
You sure can. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I swear.
As soon as you hang them outside, an hour later, right? Don't leave it an hour and a half, or they'll be like cardboard, right?
Oh my God, that hot.
Hour later, you're out there and you're bringing them back in. You can put them straight back on if you want. So, look, getting back to why, and it was tongue-in-cheek. Look, the election, maybe because it's maybe drawn my attention more than any others over the last 2 decades, that peripherally, Australia keep a very good eye on the US election. It actually has an impact on us over here. What you're doing with your money, your defense, your trade has a direct impact on our defence, our money, our trade. So our media outlets keep a keen eye on what's going on over there.
Y'all be roasting the fuck out of us. I be watching y'all media outlets, bro. Y'all funny as hell over there, bro.
There's a couple lefties losing it, they call it.
Y'all be getting the woke people, bro. It'd be hilarious. I love it, man.
Mate, you should have seen some of the independent stuff that happened here in the media when Biden shat himself. It was ruthless. So, look, nobody deserves any cuddles when you do that in public at that age. You know, you should be at least aware that you're not on top of your faculties.
Man, they shouldn't have put that old senile motherfucker at the top office, bro. Everybody said he's too fucking old. Nobody wanted to listen. Like, they were just so desperate to get Donald Trump out of there, they put anybody in the office and ended up with old-ass, decrepit-ass Joe Biden letting out goddamn basketball players for goddamn terrorists. I don't give a fuck about goddamn the Democrats. He made me switch to the Republicans immediately.
Look,
I switch. Like, but I can't. It's hard to vote for somebody like Donald Trump, though, who at the same time got caught a million times dissing black people. You know how I feel about stuff like that. But at the same time, I like when my country looks powerful. So when I come down to like all that, they say the lesser of two evils. Well, I want to feel safe in my country, and I don't feel safe with president. Like when people open the borders to like a whole bunch of people who just ran into another country and did what they did. So, you know, I want to talk about that on YouTube because YouTube don't like that type of shit. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so the lesser of two evils is
all that bullshit.
Pretty well. See, I call it the least worst candidate.
There we go.
Right. So, and when it's, you know, there's not an out and out best or favorite. It's just they're all bad, and I'm going to do my best to pick the least worst.
Pretty much, that's how we vote, man. Like, unless, but surprisingly, like this election, like most of my friends, they don't like either candidate, and they're just not voting. I'm on the fence with the same decision. It's like, damn, I don't even know if I want to vote. So it's like one of them things. So I won't be surprised if I don't vote tomorrow because I don't like.
It's against the law over here not to vote.
Really?
You get fined once you turn 18 over here. You're either automatically you must register to vote. And
you gotta register here, but you don't have to vote though.
No, so we get fines if we don't vote.
Hey RC, you hear this shit?
I hear it.
And for not voting.
Basically, what happens is your name is on a list in the area in which you live. So you don't have to go to one spot. There's multiple spots. You just walk in. You give them your ID, they find your list, they cross you off, they give you the paperwork, and they say, look, go make your decision. Put it in the ballot box, right? If your name's not crossed off, within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll get a fine in the mail.
Wow.
Failure to vote, and it gets worse if you're a repeat offender.
Hey,
so
DJ, if you miss bullshit, bro, that should be a choice.
No, well, it can go both ways depending on your perception. And I've had this right. So the problem that you've got is if nobody votes, right? Democracy.
Oh, DJ, I see where you're coming from. Y'all only got 27 million people in Australia. Y'all need
No. It's not about that. Democracy is based on majority decision. Majority, right? So if only 30% vote and 70 don't, right?
Yeah.
The 30% that did isn't a reflection of the majority of your country.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So what they're doing is they're saying we won't give you an option not to vote. Right. Your free speech is in voting. Right? Your decision and opinion is reflected in voting. But so that we can't influence or block people out, regardless of their religion, culture, background, what have you, the idea is that you want to capture the majority decision of the total population, not the majority decision of the total people that voted.
Okay, I get it.
And logistically, yes, it is a lot easier to actually do for 27 people than it is for 380 million.
That's definitely super surprising, man. Huh? Did you know that, RC? Did you get a fine?
I didn't know that, but I'll tell you one thing was
That
surprising.
happened here, that would cause a riot.
Bruh, what was surprising to me was he said he got to put it in a ballot box. They don't trust our ass over here for that.
Yeah, we don't get ballot boxes, bro.
The ballot box gonna get stolen.
Yeah, our shit's all digital.
Well, look, that's
a ballot box. Oh hell no! People will be putting 10 ballots in it, bro. 20 ballots. It'd be crazy.
We already got a thing right now with the people, the early vote, when people mailing in, they was setting the post office box afire.
Yeah,
weird, bro. It's getting a little crazy over here with that type shit.
I mean, I'm not sure who'd steal a ballot box, but you can't do multiple votes because you can't get your hands on a ballot paper if it's not handed to you. It's not like it's in the middle of the room and you just pick one up as you walk past. You can only get it when you register. Like when you sign your name off, they cross your name off, then they give you the ballot to go put your preferences on. You can't get that bit of paper from anywhere else.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Once you leave that paper, that paper is mysteriously going to disappear when you leave in America.
No. Look,
and like, I don't know. Is y'all politics like, how I know you know this is about America, and I think it's stupid as hell, it's hilarious to me. But like they take the it's like really personal, like politics here. Like they take it too seriously. Like they act like people act like they know Donald Trump. Like they act like they hate this dude on a personal level and don't know shit about him. And I think you shouldn't take stuff like that seriously. You know what I mean? Look at the stuff he does as president. Don't look at the character of the person. Like, you know what I'm talking about? In our country, they hate the dude's character so much to the point where they saying his assassination attempt was staged, bro. That's how much they hate it.
Right. Yeah. So let me start off by saying this. Look, there's parts of any place in the world that is probably more emotional about things than others, right? What I would challenge you to think about as you fall into sleep shortly is don't focus on the effect, focus on the cause. What's the cause of people taking it so personally? Because in my opinion, their actual political campaigns make it personal. It's either about race, it's either about minorities, it's either about a section of the culture, the community, the economy. What you're not getting is bigger policies that are aimed to actually improve something during their campaign, right?
Yeah.
Because it's always, because what they're doing is those swing states, as the best I understand, is they're looking at how to influence swing states. If those states are of a certain identity or culture or race, they're strategically pitching to that demographic of how they're going to be better off. And then everyone else that's not of that race or that demographic take it personally and go, well, hang on, yeah, why the fuck are they getting a leg up? Why aren't I getting the same consideration? So you're only seeing the effect. You're missing the cause. The cause is that they're actually making it personal the way that they actually try to win votes, whereas over here, it's more a broader policy. This is what we want to do with our renewables. This is what we want to do with our trade. This is what we want to do with our defense. It's less about this is how we want to help a indigenous community or a Muslim community, right? So it's how they pitch it and how you get sucked into it. And the bottom line is a lot of it's just fucking propaganda. It's lies and bullshit just to get the numbers up. They're never going to deliver on that crap Because once they're in power, they don't give a stuff what anyone thinks. They just do what they want. So you
Pretty much.
just, if you can ask people to be a little bit more intelligent and make it about the nation rather than individual sections of the people, I think that you would see some of that effect change and people would start thinking a little bit holistically about their voting. It's a lot of people. You put 380 million people together anywhere in the world, they're just all not going to get along.
Man,
Man.
it's so bad, man. Like, listen, man, I can't even bring up the dude's name around certain family members. Like, people I love to death, but if I say Trump's name around them, they go crazy, bro. I've seen friends that have been friends for 20, 30 years. Like, stop being friends over who they voted for. I never
But-
seen this before. I never seen this divisive. I never seen people take it this personally, bro. I seen relationships end behind this shit, bro. Like,
So-
right now, one of my homies and his girlfriend just broke up because he said, I'm voting for Donald Trump. And he's black. And she's like, what? You ain't a real black man. I'm breaking up with you. And dumped his ass.
Well, look,
The
I
black,
think
but
that
the black men vote.
But all
For
the
Trump
black
is
men
like
is like
80%.
leaning towards Trump.
Yeah, it's like 80% towards Trump.
He can't stand Kamala Harris. I'm not voting for her.
tell,
It just is
tell,
what it is.
so
Like,
tell me how religion or race can't be equally as divisive, right?
it
So
is.
it's not it's not actually just politics. Sometimes it's not the politics that are actually dividing people. It's the race or the culture or the ideals or
That's
whatever
another
that
big
sit.
issue going on over here. Everybody's trying to blame everything on Jewish people. It's just a lot of stupid shit going on, man. Now all of a sudden the Jewish is the new big bad guys and behind the scenes puppet master controlling the whole America. It's like, this is like, what the hell is going on over here, man?
Well,
It's annoying.
imagine if there was the biggest realist in the world that was actually one of the primary candidates running for president. Imagine if you had a male or a female president that got up in front of the nation and said, I'm sick of your fucking whinging. You're all, by a majority, in control of your own future. It's not my job here to find ways to give you, my primary role isn't to find ways to give you extra money or a leg up or those sorts of things, because people become reliant on it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there are parts that, don't get me wrong, there are parts that need a little bit of support to build some infrastructure, some opportunity, some education. Don't get me wrong there. But if the majority of a population think that the primary role of a government is to appease them each and every day, they're waking up in the wrong reality. You just can't keep everyone happy. But my point is that they purposely narrow their pitch to a part of the community that they think can help them
Oh, hell yeah.
in a swing state. And sometimes
It's even worse than that here, though. Like, I don't know how, like, and y'all, let me ask you a question. In your country, when a presidential race is going on, are there rival news stations like there is here, like how Fox News and CNN, like they Democrats and they Republicans and they pushing the bullshit just as hard at each other? Like, do that happen? That's and it confuses the population just as much too. Like, you know what I mean? Because like,
yes,
it's like the older population here feeds off to everything the news say, everything. Like, they believe the news. Period.
Everything.
You know what I mean? Is it like that up there, like with that too? Rival news stations and shit.
Yeah, not to the same. Yes, each media outlet has a political preference, because with media in Australia being, I guess, one of the, I suppose, more the top end economic supporters of policies and those sorts of things, that they can side with them. But what they what you won't get is I might get a channel that is influenced by, say, the Labor Party, right? So they're always trying to pitch the Labor Party in a good light. Look what they've done. Look what they're going to do, blah, blah, blah.
So pretty
Right.
much the version of the Democrat.
Right. But what you normally wouldn't get is you wouldn't get an absolute, completely infactual misrepresentation of the Liberal Party. Right. It wouldn't be edited or tailored to be completely infactual. One of the challenges we're having in our country is that they want to introduce a disinformation and misinformation bill, right? Because this is an example exactly why parts of our political community recognise now that independent media, internet, X, social media, all those sorts of things are also a very valid news source where quite often it's actually just facts. It's not controlling the narrative or controlling the propaganda, right? So they go, oh shit, we're losing our media influence. We don't want to get rid of all media. We just want to pick the ones that we can influence, right? To influence the messaging that you're getting, particularly around elections, right? COVID was a good example of that. Oh, we don't want you reading that. We don't want you thinking that. We only want you to hear from this news source or that news source.
Hell yeah.
And that's, some of that's not indifferent. I know that they want to shut down algorithms and certain things over there with some of the big social media outlets over there, but that should be enough. Forget about every other policy. That should be enough to actually see the integrity of a party or an individual. If you start doing that, I'm not trusting you with shit.
Swear to God.
I'm not. You shouldn't be allowed to manage a 5-year-old's birthday party. You just. But look, I think that there's a matter. History will tell you that by majority, look what's happening in the UK. I don't know if you've seen much over there, the riots about free speech and all those sorts of things. At some time in every country, in every culture, the citizens or population just enough's enough. And then they really get to the streets and start standing up. So I think that
it got crazy in England after that Muslim did what he did to the children. So
it's still going on over there. They're still throwing.
That was like the last straw for them. Remember when dude got killed in the middle of the street out there? Like they ain't tired of that shit. So yeah, they it's getting pretty nuts over there in England. People ain't paying attention to that because of that whole war going on over there in the Middle East. But yeah, England it look like it's getting kind of nuts, man.
So you know, like you would think that history should be your best teacher, wouldn't you? You would think for intelligent people, whether they're US politicians, Australian politicians, international business people, whatever else. If you're not allowing yourself to learn some hard lessons from history, you're just kidding yourself. Like if you think that it won't repeat because you're somehow smarter or sneakier, well, you're actually just dumber than everyone else. It's just only a matter of time and it's going to happen again. So, no, look, the world's a changing. It's out of my hands. I can only try and influence my little tiny section of the world, DJ's little tiny section. And if that means that I've got to pick on RC about the Saints because he won't leave Tim Zoo alone, or Australian
man, I just said one joke about Tim Zoo, bro. It was goddamn, man.
I'll say this, bro. Like tomorrow's election, no matter the outcome, people are going to be pissed off. It is what it is. I don't think no civil war or nothing like that's going to break out at all. I don't think like, you know what I mean, Trump is going to go score sturf on everybody. Like, they going to think if he going to win. I don't think Kamala Harris is going to be the wicked witch of the East that everybody thinks she going to be. You know what I mean? But I think in the end, niggas are going to be pissed off. Are we going to see another January 6th type situation? Possibly. I don't rule that out at all. But I think they will be very well prepared for it this time. But I will know that I will say that in the end, people are gonna be mad regardless who wins. So it just is what it is. We'll see what happens.
That's true.
I mean, I just pray for the best outcome. You know what I mean? And we're just gonna see, man. But with that one, fellas, I am going to get out of here because I am taking my ass to sleep. So y'all both
All the time, bro.
y'all both have a good night. You know what I mean? And I'll catch up with you two next time.
For
Right,
sure.
Peace.
Good night, RC. Good night, Punch.
All right,
Catch
DJ.
you next time, Mark. Salute, Sammy. Chat.